Travis Bickle.
Hey, Travis.
A taxi driver whose life was going nowhere.
Have a hurry up, will you?
Until he met Betsy.
What I want.
You are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
Now is Travis in for the ride of his life?
I don't believe I've ever met anyone quite like you.
Or will she drive him crazy?
Talking to me?
Dave's Film Club presents Taxi Drivers, Saturday at 9.
How old was that intro?
The advert is mental, absolutely mental.
It was in 1981.
Must have got when they watched that film.
Yeah, blow it. In case you didn't know what that was from one of the Freeview channels called Dave, and
wow,
it had a lot of comedies as well. It even brought back Red Dwarf after such a long time of not getting a new series. And I was really
Top Gear channel.
Yeah. But God, I remember when this was at premiering Taxi Driver on its channel, and I thought, this is so fucking good to just have it re-edited as a romantic comedy. It's just genius, and I love to know really well pulled by it.
You remember the Deadpool trailer, the first Deadpool they did, because they released it on Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
the whole thing as a romance. It actually really worked.
Yeah, they still did sort of market it as that, but except people were getting fucking sliced and diced. But
you ever see years ago they had like the fake trailer for Mrs. Doubtfire as a horror film? It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I
love that. And hello, Jammer, Lama, and Ray Terry. And thank you for everyone for joining me. Thank you, Critical Al. Thank you, Fandad Menace. Thank you, Blue Collar Loser.
Oh yeah, fresh out the shower.
And welcome, you beautiful bastards, to my so-called show. And tonight we're going to be talking about the classic Taxi Driver. So, before we get into the movie, when did you first come about Taxi Driver?
Boy, I mean, it came out for I was born.
This film is just about older than me. I first watched it about 6-7 years ago. Just one of those films that I'd never got around to watching, and then I watched it and I was just like, oh wow, this is a movie. This is why Scorsese is so highly regarded. You know, this is our movie. It's not a throwaway piece of entertainment or garbage. So but this film, 1976. I was born 79, so it's 3 years older than me.
Yeah, damn, I must be about 12 years younger. I think about 12 years after this came out, I was born. And Fandad Menace, when did you first come about Taxi Driver?
Well, I knew of it since it was made in 1976 and I was made in 1968. And I first got to see it it was about Tuesday of this week. First time I've ever seen it. It's one of those, there's so many films that I haven't seen that I should be ashamed of myself. Classic movies, and this is one of them. So I went into it knowing virtually nothing about it. I had a sort of a totally different preconception of what I was about to get into, and it was nothing like what I thought it was going to be like. I did enjoy it. I watched it twice, actually. I think it's one of those films that you could just take apart for hours and hours and hours and look into the sort of the psychology behind it. And I think that's what I'm going to actually do. I think I'll dig a bit deeper into what this movie is essentially about and what it's trying to say. But
yeah, I mean, I totally got this wrong a few times when I first saw it. I think I was 15 when I first saw it on Channel 4, and totally. And I was already getting into Martin Scorsese with Goodfellas and a lot of De Niro's earlier stuff like Deer Hunter as well. And obviously, Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, a crime drama set in the 70s, and it's all grungy looking and very disturbing. And of course, I'm going to watch it. And Blue Collar Loser, how did you first come about Taxi Driver? I mean, when did you first see it?
Yeah, it's one of the films, dude, that, because it came out, I was born in 81, so it came out before I was born. And just like Star Wars, I don't remember. It's been so long. I mean, I remember watching as a kid, but, it's like asking me, first time I saw Empire Strikes Back. Well, it came out before I was born, so who knows? Maybe as a teenager, it's one of the films where I know it, I watched it, but the first time, it would have been on VHS back in the day.
Yeah, and I think they tried to ban it as well, didn't they? So I don't know if
find out
if this was still available in the 80s or the.
I think it was. It was surrounded by controversy just because of the portrayal of Iris by I think she was 13. I think was she 12 or 13 at the time of filming.
Yeah,
Jodie Foster. So
Mm.
I think it did all right in the cinema. I think it was critically acclaimed. It won a
oh,
Palme
it
d'Or,
was.
I believe.
Oh,
but-
yeah, I think it was nominated for a couple of awards as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, it must have been very fucking jarring as well because Jodie Foster was still the cute kid in these Disney films, wasn't she? So
Yeah.
yeah, but
I think the what's it called? Bugsy Malone was released in the same year.
yeah, she was in that. Yeah,
in
she was
that,
in that. Fucking hell. Forget about that movie sometimes.
Fat Sam's Grand Slam.
Yeah, that's a good film. That is a very good film. But
I think it's definitely what they would call problematic today. This would have so many
would,
trigger
yeah.
warnings before it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of people did sort of like idolize Travis Bickle a little bit because I sort of felt like he was feeling. And yeah, I was kind of pretty fucking depressed a lot as a teen, and I sort of did identify him a little bit. But what he's doing is kind of fucking crazy. You know, he's there's a real good interview with Paul Schrader, and he kind of sympathizes with his character Travis Bickle, but he doesn't condone his actions, and that's how we should really be looking at Travis Bickle himself, because he's definitely because he's definitely isolated. He's from a big, huge city that's full of people, and yet he still manages to be very lonely. That's kind of a sad irony to his character.
Yeah.
I kind of see a lot of it in sort of Falling Down, the Michael Douglas film, as well as the Punisher, the cartoon, the comic character. All it takes is one bad day, and Travis Bickle just has one too many bad days, and you can just see him spiraling, and he becomes what he thinks he needs to be to survive. The same as these other characters do. So it was way before its time in that way. But as I say, I didn't get to watch it until I was already an adult. So I had a different appreciation for it, I think.
Yeah, plus you got his trauma from Vietnam to add on to there as well. And
he was a Marine, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a Marine. And
apparently so. But I've read other sort of takes where they were questioning the fact that he was actually in the Marines, the way he was handling the weapons and stuff. He said that it didn't look as if he was military trained. So was that another one of his kind of fantasies that he was telling people? Because he was quite a manipulative character.
Because he does contradict himself a lot, doesn't he? Like he says he's gonna start eating healthy and start pumping, but then you still see him popping pills, and occasionally you still see him snacking on crappy junk food. It's
sugary junk food. Yeah, he lies to his parents as well.
Like a lot of great films, it's got an element of the unreliable narrator in there.
It's
the
seen from his point of view, isn't he?
Another film very much like it would be something like Joker.
I know.
I think with Joker though, it's kind of that's the downward spiral, the sort of the decay of the human psyche. Where I think with this film, I noticed straight away that the guy was tapped. As soon as he took Betsy for that pie and coffee, just the way that he was talking to her and questioning her, I thought there's something not right with this guy. He seems a little bit strange in the head for the conversations. He was very sort of socially awkward. But I thought, he's definitely on a trajectory, probably a downward one from here on in.
Yeah, plus you can tell that as well by the way he interacts with his other taxi co-workers. He kind of just sits there, kind of all shielding himself a little bit as well, even though he's sat next to them. And he only really joins in the conversation when one of them asks him a question, and he still seems a little bit off by how to answer it. It's so it's definitely someone who's really been really removed from people, and he's not really been interacting too much, and and he's really got a lot of baggage in his mentally. I mean, he lies to his parents as well that he's in the Secret Service when he's not.
I imagine today's TikTok generation would put any number of labels of mental diagnosis on him, but the fact of the matter is that he's just a damaged character.
Yeah,
he is. He's a very damaged character.
He's living in this environment which he himself describes as that it's just pure filth flowing in the streets. He hates it, but he lacks the ability to do anything about it until he makes the changes to himself that he needs to do to.
Like when he looks at someone, you're disgusted with him. Like when you see these like pimps at the cafe in their big fucking wide hats. I mean, you instantly suspect that they're fucking horrible people the way he does, even though we have no idea who these people are.
Well, that's it. I mean, each of the scenes, especially in the early part of the movie, do a very good job of showing, I want to say, the spirit of New York and the dark side of it. And I'm sure there is a good element to it as well, although by nature it's a city and therefore full of people and I would hate it. But you see the dark, seedy underbelly of New York and all the things that, as a taxi driver working those late hours and those late shifts like he likes to do, that, you know, he's exposed to. So that obviously will have an effect on a broken or malleable psyche as well. So, yeah, as I say, it's a film to think about. It's not a disposable piece of entertainment at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can get so many interpretations from it as well because he doesn't try it. Because I mean, Scorsese probably has set about, you know, making a point about this and a point about that, but at the same time, he's keeping it vague enough to keep people talking about it and not it be so clear cut or black or white.
Yeah.
I mean, like Fandad said, it's a slow burn. It's not non-stop action and, you know, high thrills and that kind of stuff. It's a slow burn of a film from the very start until, you know, probably around about 20-30 minutes before the end, when, you know, shit really starts to kick off.
I know. Even at the beginning, I mean, you don't notice it on the first time you watch it though, but when you see the way the opening credits have been filmed and it's all blurry and dreamlike, you got this really intense music and
it reminds me of like 1940s, 50s films, almost like the kind of
Hitchcockian,
film noir detective kind of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely it was kind of billed as a neo-noir thriller. Neo-noir being like the revival of the noir movies of sort of the 40s and 50s. Like
it definitely has that.
Yeah, that makes sense because obviously the hours he works there means that by its nature, a lot of the film is set at night, and I think there's definitely that element of it that I did not really consider. But yeah, neo noir makes a lot of sense.
I think you know exactly what kind of film you're into as soon as the opening credits come up with the steam and the dark and
the score. And the score. I was going to say,
what did you
look at on the streets as well? It's all blaring together. Like you kind of seen the world through his own delusion. There, he's not seeing the world in clear light. He's just seeing it all murky and just fucking all mixed up and. Just not. And,
what did you think of the music, you guys? What did you think of the score?
Yeah, I love the score, the Elmer Bernstein score. It starts off really intense with that dun 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 dun. Then it goes to this very smooth, sort of jazz-like thing, and it's.
That's what I thought jazz.
Yeah, I was going to say jazz. It's kind of off kilter
as well because he is a contradiction. So it sounds very smooth and that, but he's also got this very dark, harsh sort of tone to it.
Yeah, it definitely fits the 1970s New York vibe.
Yeah. The composer was Bernard Herrmann.
His last film as well, wasn't it?
It was, He died a few hours after he finished the recording of the movie, and then he went to, I think he was looking at the dailies for another, it was a Larry Cohen movie, God Told Me To. That was going to be his next project. He went back to his hotel after finishing the recording, and died in his sleep from what they say was a heart attack. So,
sad man,
brutal.
Yeah, but man, he really composed a fucking iconic score because I don't know if you ever drive around at night, but you can't say you don't get that theme in your head if you're driving around at night, even if it's just a drive.
Yeah, I would know.
Yeah, and you probably see these streets as well, blue collar. And I'd like to know, is there anything that has changed over the years as well? That once you see them,
this is a problem we constantly go through. Is like I said, New York City. Like I'm in New York State. I'm in Albany, and we have like New York State is pretty damn massive. I always say New York City is like its own economy, its own state almost. You have 8 million people on one island. So technically, I'm in New York State, but the rest of the state is not like New York City. It's a whole different environment. When I go down there, I'm like, wow, how do people live like this?
No, I watched a documentary on this, talking about how New York has changed as well, and there were tons of fucking porno theaters back in the day. And was it Giuliani who kind of cleaned up the area after he became mayor?
Giuliani, yeah, I mean, he did well. What really made him popular was 9/11. That's the thing. We just call it what it is. Giuliani got really popular after after those towers went down, man, that's what skyrocketed him. A lot of people felt he was overrated, but at the time, I mean, it's just, hey, the guy was the hero of New York.
Yeah, plus he fucking took on the mafia as well. I mean, that guy had fucking balls. He really did.
Yeah,
And this is where we first meet Travis Bickle as well, and he's obviously having trouble sleeping, and he decides, all right, I may as well get a job as a taxi driver. I can't sleep. I'm always driving around at nights anyway. So, and the porno theaters aren't fucking doing anything. Because even mentioned, so was that a thing back in the 70s where
I mean,
men would
definitely
fucking go to porno theaters, jack off, go back home, and get to sleep?
Remember Pee Wee Herman? Paul Rubens got caught. That was in the 90s.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and that was the 90s. Porno theaters were still pretty big. I mean, in the 70s, they had to be. I mean, it would have been before all of us were old enough for that shit. But if Paul Rubens got caught in the 90s, I'm sure this was going on in the 70s.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past it as well. Like everyone fucking wanking in the cinema. It's like, don't worry, we're all friends here. We're all friends. Jack away.
Brenda
He says in the
Bristol.
film, doesn't he,
Just
that he
stop
has to
screaming.
clean-
Just
clean
stop
some off
spraying
the
me,
back
all right?
seat
Just
and
be
stuff,
careful where you
so-
aim that thing, okay?
I remember when I was at school, a VHS porno tape being passed around, like literally going around the class.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Yeah,
I've had
you
it
had
now for a night. You put it in your bag. You go take it now. You're the
Yeah,
custodian.
you had to be
of the,
really fucking secret about it as well. You had to stash it
Oh, yeah.
somewhere. You had to fucking. You always had that kid who had shitty fucking parents that would expose him to all sorts of crap and not care and
True.
fuck up his childhood. And God
Yeah.
bless those kids because we needed to be just as fucked up. We
I
did.
tell you where the best place to stash your porno is under the stairs in your best mate's house, isn't it, Ray? If Ray Terry's still in the chat, I wouldn't know about such
plausible
things.
deniability right there.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. You fucking go around to your mate's house and you're thinking, oh, he must really like hanging out with me. No, just wants to fucking
he's
wank
there.
me. That's it.
Can you remember the American Werewolf in London? Didn't he go to like a porn thing?
He did,
Yeah.
yes.
Was it
Yeah.
Brenda Bristol in See You Next Wednesday or something? Don't know why that stuck in my head.
Yeah, that one where it's like, you probably wouldn't do anything like that. I've never met you before in my life. Not you, you twit. Her. I don't know who you are. Oh, sorry.
Another quality film, that.
Yeah,
Unreal.
that's
Yeah, I
a
was-
fucking funny scene.
I was a horrible son. Like, never go through your parents' dresser drawers. And I was, because mom and dad are at work, and I'm home from school sick, and like, hey, let me check out their closet. And boy, I found a lot of stuff I shouldn't have found. Like, oh shit.
Oh.
But yeah, I like the first time you see Travis Bickle is you can instantly see there's something off with him a little bit as well. And
Oh, yeah. His mannerisms. He's just.
yeah, that scene where he goes, how's your license? It's like clean, real clean, like my conscience. And yeah, his manager's not taking any fucking shit from him. It's like, are you going to be a fucking wise ass with me? Because I
Yeah.
cannot deal with people like you at the moment. And he's like,
I'm
okay.
Sure, I'm sure you guys go through it too, being Brits. That it's funny how different dialogue is different part of that decade. Like, this guy's like, hey, stop busting my chops there. I wouldn't say anybody in 2024, anybody saying busting my chops. It wouldn't happen,
Yeah, no, some things
It
just fucking...
dates things, doesn't it? It's like when I remember those old Marvel comics
Yeah.
where it says something about, Iron Man needs to give somebody some hard dick, and it just means a talking to. People just don't talk about that these days.
Well, you guys know it yourselves. I mean, we can say on Luke's channel because you guys are Brits, but you guys constantly say the word fag because to you it's cigarettes. But boy, try saying that word over here. That's
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you,
I mean, we have a food that's called faggots.
and
yeah.
Sorry, Luke, demonetized, but the McBrains, they're just pork balls.
what's
I
that? We
guess.
notice what on YouTube.
I
As long as you have a British accent, you can say that word as much as you want. As long as you got that accent.
fags.
Yes.
I'm smoking a fag that's got a real different.
yeah.
No, you're 100% right, man.
We're going out smoking fags tonight. And,
not so much in the States now.
you get arrested, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing with the internet is we're kind of getting Americans that are getting the lingo a little bit more now because there's so much more exposure to it now.
Well, because the internet, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a beauty of YouTube. It's if it wasn't for modern internet in 2024, the four of us wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, actually. You are right. There's so many American sort of channels and things I see picking up on words like, wanker and things like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
absolutely British, and I'm like, are you stealing our words, or is this us just recolonizing you through language? I'm not entirely sure, So, but there's a lot more crossover these days with things that used to be just, as you say, British terms that have been picked up.
I don't know if Americans got the term bell end yet.
I mean, in most conversation, no, it's just something on the internet. Just like cheers. I say cheers to you guys, but I don't say to my friends, hey guys, cheers. It's just not something we do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll say it's like to you people because it's what you're used to hearing. But yeah, cheers. I never grew up once until I started hearing the Brits always saying, hey, cheers, guys. Like, all right.
I did always think that the as a culture, British, we were ahead of the curve when it came to insults and swear words.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Knob jockey is just another brilliant one.
Yeah, God, we love them. Yeah, we
so
love
many of them.
We love using knob or fucking bell as our insult.
Shut up, your bell end.
This is the thing, isn't it? In the UK, even especially in places like Australia, which obviously is an ex-colony anyway, you can literally you can say cunt to somebody and mean it in a friendly way, like genuinely a friendly way. It can be friendly and it can be, aggressive as well. It's a very versatile word.
Yeah.
It's funnier when they say it though, for some reason.
Yeah, we are seeing right now, Luke, it's like with this character, he's writing a letter to his parents, and like you said, he's bullshitting, the whole like I'm working 6 days a week, and thank God the rain is like, washing away all the filth in this city. And boy, you already seen into the mental where this guy's at mental. He's like in a shitty apartment, it's but even though
he's obviously not got a social life as well. He's just working long fucking hours, and
it's like he's presenting to his parents what he wishes it was, that he was making this change, he was making this difference, that the city was different.
He's saying he's making $300 a week. Now I want to look at 19. Now what would that be to 2024? Because $300 a week sounds pretty good for 1976.
It's got to be like $600. It's got to be at least double, at least.
Yeah, but once again, you do get a bit of insight into it. It's kind of built. It's kind of just showing a little bit what his life is like at the moment.
Wow.
And apart from
it starts almost like a montage, isn't it? You literally see scenes of the different characters he has in his.
It's obviously it's definitely is adding on to the deterioration of his mental state.
Yeah.
And
according to Google, this is saying that's equivalent. 300 in 1976 for us will be today about 1,700. So I mean,
wow,
1,700 a week for a fucking cab driver. That's more than I make. That's pretty good money. I mean, considering,
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like this little bit here as well. After you can still see he's trying to get some kind of companionship, try and find some normality, and he totally feels here with this very, very attractive cinema clerk here as well. And
he is awkward, even with Betsy. He's very awkward, and I'm sure again a lot of modern commentators would have things to say about toxic masculinity. The fact that he's socially maladjusted by exposing himself to so much porn and things like that, and that's the only real interaction he has with females. But it's just another facet of the character that's built up.
I know, because porn does present a very unrealistic light of sex and relationships, and this is all he's exposed to when it comes to relationships. So
I honestly think porn is a massive problem even nowadays, because you've literally got women fighting for more respect and things like that, which I'm not going to argue that they don't necessarily deserve, but at the same time you've also got somebody from bloody Barnsley showing off a minge for £5 on OnlyFans.
I know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, this is
they're the biggest feminists half the time. It's it's really hypocritical.
It's again kind of high in a sense that porn. It's like you hit a certain level where it's like once you've seen everything, now you're bored, and to get that high, you need to start doing more extreme things that most people wouldn't do, and that's what you start seeing. You hear stuff on OnlyFans. How's this girl doing X, Y, and Z? Because just traditional normal sex is not enough for people anymore. It becomes this massive.
It's the same as if you make any content, you need to be more. Sensational, you need to be more sort of attention and headline grabbing. You need to break the mold to stand out, So
and he definitely is sort of trying to have some kind of dignity to his actions, but at the same time, he's kind of hollowing himself out for some kind of undeserved fame over something fucking extreme, isn't he? And
the thing is, he makes all this money, and he's not living a lavish lifestyle in the slightest. So
No,
Yeah,
because
it's like he doesn't have any real desires for anything outside. Just
It's like
just
he's working just so he hasn't got to, just so he's staying busy.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like he needs the money necessarily, although I'm sure
No,
New York
I
is
met people
expensive
like that.
enough.
I met people like that where just like they'll work 7 days a week or six. They'll work like 16-hour days and just work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep. And after like 6 months, they got like $100,000 in the bank, and now they're like, "What do I do with it?" Because they're so used to just working 6 fucking days a week all damn time. You become like addicted to that. Like you hit a point where I have all this money and now I don't know what to do.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the worst thing to do is what to spend with other fucking cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be doing that. I'll be doing that in a few months, Scarface. But he's obviously, and he's also caught the attention. Some beautiful woman played by Cybill Shepherd has caught his attention as well, and already you can see him. He's really building up this image of her, like she's this pure angel who's just come out of nowhere. And got Martin Scorsese here, leering.
Oh yeah, I didn't
But he is.
And Weird Al Yankovic. Hey, nice little cameo here. Yeah, and it's like we see her. She's like she's walking very slowly. She looks very beautiful. She's all in white. She's got that very hypnotic harp music playing, and you see
Very
her
kind
as
of
a
glamour model, isn't it?
Yeah, the way he's looking at her.
Also, Luke, you have to mention, man. Look at that '70s stash. I can never grow that. And that would take me 2 decades to grow that.
Dude, you could sweep your yard with that thing.
I swear that the genes to grow those kind of tashes just don't exist in men these days. It's just spread out of us.
I can attest.
Yeah, there's just little bits of fucking fluff out, you know.
Don't you think the fact that he's essentially stalking Betsy, it tells you a lot about his sort of character as well, because he's just sitting outside, sort of.
I know. He doesn't know, but already he's already picked her to be his fucking future bride, and it's kind of intense as well. They cannot touch her. It's like, if someone says that, no one can have her, only I can.
She belongs,
So he's putting her up on a pedestal, put her up on a pedestal, and that makes the eventual rejection.
It does.
That much more damaging to his psyche.
I know, because it's almost like he's seen her as a way to sort of like have some kind of meaning and normality in his life.
He's seeing her as something pure, isn't he? In the city of filth, she's an icon to him.
100%.
Yeah, the only good thing is in a city of filth, and I can have a meaningful life with her, and everything will be better. But that's not always how life works.
Yeah,
and this is where I meet.
He doesn't even know her. She's just some stranger. That's what makes it worse.
This is where I meet Albert Brooks as well, who's really fucking funny guy. If you've watched his stand-up stuff from the 70s, he is fucking hilarious, and he's really, really surreal. But you see him here, he's a total sort of like proper jobs where stick in the mud, and he does bring a nice little dry sense of humor to the really intense film. And he does kind of
the guy with the glasses, the guy who plays Tom. He's an actual comedian, is he? Is he the guy that plays Tom there with the glasses?
Yeah, he's been in Drive as well, and he's Marvin in. He's in Out of Sight as well.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the. I forgot the name of the character, but he's the one that George Clooney plans to rip off at the end.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, Albert Brooks. He's very, very good character actor as well. He's very, very, very funny.
Yeah, plus, dude, you see like that 70s hairdo, that perm do?
Yeah, but that proper 1970s sort of like hit jewel hairdo sort of thing. Yeah, he's like old school 1970s Jewish New Yorker.
Yeah.
But, and obviously he kind of becomes a little. Travis kind of sees him as a little bit like a rival, a man rival in a way.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's like, she's mine. No one's gonna have her but me.
Yeah. And this is where we get to know who she is a little bit as well. And she's just an ordinary fucking woman, just working another job. And she noticed Travis Bickle is stalking her, but she doesn't know what to make of it.
Yeah, the taxi driver's been staring at us how long? I don't know, just a long time.
Yeah, and they actually don't come across as real workers, like he's kind of a bit of a stick in the mud, and she looks like she can have a bit of fun when she wants to, but they seem to act like grown-ups towards each other. There still seems to be this nice bit of respect towards them. And of course, when he gets caught out stalking her, he's like, he fucking drives off. He does.
Takes right off.
I like a stabbed rat.
Yeah. And once again, you got to get a few more scenes of it the night he lives in as well. And yeah, it's like they're trying to just
Music. Yeah, like you guys
Yeah,
saying,
and
man, it just keeps showing shots in New York City. Just shows like from his point of view, just how like it's crowded, it's like dirty, like the lighting is grainy, and just it seems like a place you
I
don't want
know.
to live, man. It's just like it's filthy.
I know, despite being a big city, it almost feels very claustrophobic, like you're getting
Yes.
smothered by
Yeah.
every single person walking the
Yep.
streets.
I mean, it was the aspect ratio was 16:9, wasn't it? So rather than it be like a sort of vista scope or whatever it is, it gives that claustrophobic feeling.
Yeah, and there's not really many wide shots of. I mean, I don't think you see any of the landmarks like
No.
Statue of Liberty or anything like that. And
No.
a film with New York in it without showing the Statue of Liberty, that's almost all.
Yeah,
The,
it's like
Empire State
ignore the
Building is
tourist shit. You know, this is what New Yorkers have to live with. This is the real New York shit, like that.
Yeah, street level.
New York is not romanticized in this film at all.
No.
I know.
And
I mean,
and to look,
look how awkward he is with his core work. Because I mean, look, they seem to be very well adjusted as well, and they're doing the same work he's doing. Their work.
In the previous scene, it's like a quick 10 seconds as he's getting a fare. He sees a boyfriend and girlfriend kissing and kind of holding each other. He's looking over for like 10 seconds, staring.
Yeah.
Almost like you know that because he just seeing her now. It's just like it's a real quick scene, but just where his mental state's at. We're seeing people being affectionate, being close, and like he's longing for that because he's so isolated.
That's it. It's his loneliness coming through, isn't it?
I know that even when look like I said earlier, when they're having a little laugh, but then when the dude decides to have Travis join in the conversation, he does feel a little bit off that he's been asked a question and to interact with, and you can sort of see him sort of trying to sort of join in a little bit. He's laughing along with the jokes, but you notice how big that fucking gap is between him and them.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very
so subtle as well. It's so subtle.
I forgot, guys. Who's that actor? The balding guy from it's Raymond's dad. Yeah, Peter Boyle. Man. The guy was always bald or balding.
Yeah, oh, he's a fucking great actor. He's so good in
come on, Raymond.
Young Frankenstein, and everybody loves Raymond. He's
yeah.
See, the other thing about Betsy is he has one conversation with her in the cafe about the music. It's Chris Christopherson, and then straight away he's like goes and buys her a record. Do you know what I mean? There's definitely that kind of obsessive stalker thing about him for sure.
I know the fact that even though after she dumps him and he decides to fucking kill the president that she's working for, like as like some kind of way to get back at her in a way. It's
well, as I say, the rejection. I mean, it just topples his psyche. It could almost be seen as almost as a turning point, and it's of such. I mean, it is a stupid faux pas, but it's the kind of faux pas that could be made by somebody who wasn't particularly socially, aware that, all right, maybe on your first date or whatever, you don't take the woman to a porno,
I know. I think Paul Schrader mentioned this. Like most people assumed that his character is simple, but it was more of like him projecting his self-loathing onto her and making himself even more lonely than ever. More removed. I think that's and there is a real good interview on Paul Schrader and how he came about writing Travis Bickle, and I will get it up, and it's very good. It's brilliant, and you can sort of see this guy was in a lot of pain when he wrote it.
Taxi Driver was my first script, and I wrote that as self-therapy. I was in a kind of a dark place. Drinking and driving. I didn't have a place to live. I had a gun in the car, and I had a pain in my stomach. I went to the hospital, and it was a bleeding ulcer at the age of 26. And I realized in the emergency room that I hadn't spoken to anybody in weeks, and I had just been drifting through the city with this anger here in town in Los Angeles, and with all this anger. And the idea of the taxi cab came to me, this yellow metal coffin floating through the sewer of the city with this boy trapped inside who can't get out, who looks like he's in a crowd, but he's desperately alone. And I said, that's who I am. I'm the kid in that cab. And I wrote that story as self-therapy because I figured if I can write about him, I don't have to become him. And it worked. As I wrote about him, he became more and more detached from me. So I wrote it purely as self-therapy. And, it's very strange to kind of say that, but it does work. It does work. I thought it was completely logical when I wrote it. Later I realized that it was quite crazy.
Damn, that was deep.
Damn enlightening.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, fucking hell. So I think that's why it still feels so genuine and heartfelt as well, despite coming from a dark place. And you about to say something critical, Al. What was it? What was it you were going to say?
I was just literally going to say that Travis Bickle, although he does go to extremes, what I really like about his character is he never comes across as cartoonish.
No, he doesn't. He does feel very real, and I think that's what makes it more disturbing. Because we could be that person if we have enough fucking bad events happen to us, we could be that. We could be Travis.
Just one too many bad days.
Yeah, the scene come up next, Luke, is pretty cool with the Alka-Seltzer. He puts Alka-Seltzer into his water. He just stares at it as it's bubbling.
I know. This guy's asking him a question, and he's just phased out.
He's like totally just jocked out. Like, hey, what?
I do like these other characters here as well. I do like the other cabbies. They seem to have very good personalities. I like Doughboy here as well. He's basically likes to have a little side hustle where he's selling stuff that could be worth something, like
bathtub pieces.
Yeah, from Orson Welles. And I think there's a real good interview where Tarantino says, "Taxi Driver is fucking hysterical. If you filmed an audience watching that movie, you could tell they're watching the comedy, okay? It's one of the most intense movies ever." And I sort of see it.
I wouldn't have thought there was enough feet in it for him, to be honest. But
yeah, really.
Yeah. But yeah, and also his mental health isn't really helped by the fucking drugs he's taking as well. He's on a bad diet as well. He's barely fucking sleeping, and of course that's going to really add a lot of fucking baggage on your mental health.
It's not good for you. Night shift's been medically proved to be really bad for your physical and mental health.
I've worked night shifts mostly at petrol stations. Yeah, I've never just used petrol to fucking burn homeless people. I've worked there. So.
Yes, YouTube. He's never done that.
Yeah. Cybill Shepherd was fucking gorgeous back in the day.
Oh, definitely.
Look at her.
Yeah, she's not hard to look at.
No.
Maddie Hayes.
Yeah, and obviously this doesn't really do anything towards the plot, but it's a nice little moment that sort of gives these characters a little bit of sorts of humanizes them a little bit.
Well, there's so many moments like that in the film as well, and it's a hallmark of 1970s, sort of filmmaking. I shudder every time I think about what this would be like if they remade it.
Oh god!
He would be the white toxic incel, and
absolutely, it'd be incel central. It would.
She'd have a big woolly jumper on as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's funny he mentioned the mob and he calls a stool pigeon. They're like, "Yeah, these guys put a canary on their chest." Well, why not a pigeon? Pigeons are hard to catch. He's like, you can go anywhere, buy a canary and kill it and put it on someone's chest. Like, okay.
It feels like it's the conversation is very, very mundane, though, but it's not overdone enough to make the film drag on either.
It's interesting because you mentioned Tarantino, and I do actually get some Tarantino vibes from the dialogue in this movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, this came well before Tarantino, but I've always rated Tarantino for writing above everything else amazing dialogue.
I agree.
Like the scenes in Pulp Fiction in the car and stuff like that. And a lot of this does remind me of that. It's what some people would consider to be inane, but it fleshes out the character. It makes it more real.
Yeah, and it's weird because there's other directors that try to do that, and it just ends up like they're trying to do Tarantino. They're trying too hard to be hip or whatever.
Yeah, there's some people who, in my opinion, can come close, but I mean, I think Tarantino's the master at it. He's done it in so many of his films.
Yeah,
many of his films. The dialogue is just incredible.
Yeah, because it feels right. The dialogue feels right to his characters. They aren't just saying pop culture stuff for the sake of it. It's like no, these characters would talk about things like that, and he's obviously ripping off a little bit of Elmore Leonard there, because if you ever read any Elmore Leonard novels, he kind of does the same thing. In fact, he was doing it before Tarantino did. You know, having characters just talk about mundane things, which somehow helped move the plot forward. It's
quite. I mean, the example I will always hold up is just Pulp Fiction. There's so many moments in that film that are just, they're not pivotal to the movie in the slightest, but they show so much about the character. Whereas nowadays, you would be told that thing explicitly about the character. But, you can garner that information.
It's all tell, don't show, isn't it? Tell, don't show now, but
yes, exactly.
Totally
yes,
wrong way.
it's very much.
With Tarantino, I think a lot of the dialogue was like it was very relatable to the likes of us as an audience. A lot of the stuff, it's like observational comedy. You laugh because that sort of things happen to you, and a lot of the times when they're having conversations, whether it's like Reservoir Dogs around in the cafeteria, or like you say, Pulp Fiction, it's like, yeah, I've experienced that. Yeah, that's funny. I relate to that, and then you never get bored by it because you kind of reminisce through that dialogue.
I mean, some of those scenes are just going to go down in history, like the tasty burger bit just before he shoots the guy.
Yeah,
fucking hell. A couple of years later, you had The Simpsons doing a parody of it as well, where ever tried that McDonald's? It's like Krusty Burger, except they don't call it a Krusty Burger. They call it a Royale with cheese.
It's like in Taxi Driver, how many times is that? Are you looking at me? Sorry, you're talking to me. Scene been replicated in another movie, or spoofed in something. It's just it's very iconic.
Yeah, and the thing is, the line is actually taken from a Western. I can't remember the name of it, but some guy starts some shit with another guy, and he looks around and says, "Hey, are you talking to me?" And I think because De Niro really did have an original line, but then Martin Scorsese just told him to just improvise, and De Niro just used that line.
There you go. It becomes iconic.
Yeah, in fact, there are still some people who see this as a kind of a modern update of the Searchers, especially when it comes to Travis Bickle rescuing prostitute Jodie Foster from her captors. But she doesn't want to be rescued. She's already had too many years spent with him. She's kind of
I was going to say she's broken by that point, isn't she? Quite corrupted.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I don't like the fact that Travis Bickle still has a little bit of confidence to go out and ask this girl. He's making a little bit of a move, and she's obviously a little bit puzzled by him. But you can sort of tell there's a part of her that kind of is interested and fascinated on where this could go. Because he's very different.
He has the intentions to make better changes for himself. He just lacks the ability to be able to see them through.
I know.
Where he says he's going to work out, become toned, muscle up. I think more or less in the scene that's being shown.
He just goes in there, wants to volunteer for.
Yeah, because that seems to be the case with a lot of people who are just really fucking isolated or really badly depressed and really want to have some meaning in life. They are very self-destructive as well. People who are self-destructive seems to want to have a normal life with some meaning, but yet somehow they always find a way to destroy it, and then they end up blaming someone else for it. It's
kind of I guess it's kind of Fight Club like,
Yeah.
Where he actually becomes a whole new boring persona just so he can escape the horrible things that he does.
I know. He's even willing to sort of like get involved in something he has no understanding about just to get in their good books, and it's just insane. It really is.
He's just looking for that emotional connection, isn't he?
He is. He's barely getting any at all. He's barely getting any, and look, he is kind of doing well here as well. I mean, she's kind of smitten. Look at her. She's very charmed by him, and it does show that there is still a charm in there underneath all the malice.
Well, he's dressed up as well. I don't think he wears this particular outfit or anything like that anywhere else in the film.
Yeah,
No.
no, this is like
through quite a few.
this is the only time you really see him in there, and
Obviously, as the film goes on, he becomes steadily more militaristic in,
Yeah.
dress. But
yeah, you see him wearing his M65 army jacket, and
Yeah.
I don't, and I know you said something about like he could not exactly be a real army guy. He could be lying, and maybe that jacket is some stolen valor, but you never really fucking know, do you? And I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Well,
if he's
there is scenes in the film where he's literally writing in a diary. So again, the unreliable narrator comes through, because any time that anything is sort of dictated from a diary, it's the perspective can be skewed so easily.
Yeah, sure.
We might even get a prequel, so that we get the Travis Bickle story, how he ended up where he is.
I really don't want that.
Not now. Maybe in 10 years, when all this madness has sorted itself out a little bit. But I wouldn't trust anything that was deep or profound to be made at the moment, because it'll be the exact opposite.
Exactly.
Plus, it destroys the mystery as well. It's the not knowing that makes this character so fascinating. You don't know if any of this stuff probably is happening on screen, or if it's mostly what he remembers from his diary. There's just loads of ambiguity.
Well, that's the difference between explicit and implicit, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can. Your imagination is always going to come up with more scenarios, and once they're actually shown to you, it's nearly always disappointing. It's one of the biggest problems I had with the Solo film, the Star Wars Solo film.
Yeah.
You heard about.
I don't want to know
how did Han Solo get his name?
Okay.
Oh, he was on his own. Oh, that's kind of disappointing.
That was
what about the Kessel Run? 12 parsecs. brilliant. Oh, it was just a shortcut. Oh, well, that's kind of disappointing. All these legendary feats that have been talked about, and the film just steadily dismantled them all and made Han Solo very, very boring and ordinary, unfortunately.
Then you get fucking Phoebe Wall-ass Bridgeface as a fucking feminist robot. Jesus Christ.
And there's what.
Don't even get me started on Indiana Jones. She is just
God, no,
cancer to any movie she's in.
Didn't she? I know. Was she going to have like a character fucking dispose of a tampon in it as well in No Time to Die?
God.
Well, thank God that fucking.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. She's got older Tomb Raider now, so that's going to be. I'm not looking. I'm glad we're watching the Angelina Jolie one. Put it that way.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Hayley Atwell playing her, but I think she's going to get fucking wasted. I really do.
You could have the best actress or actor in the world for a role, and it makes no difference if the writing shit. Look at Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, fucking, he so deserves it. He needs to fire his fucking agent. He really does.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was born in the wrong time. It really is that simple.
He was.
Yeah.
Hollywood is just allergic to his demographic at the moment, unfortunately. 20 years ago, he would have been pretty much everything, I guarantee it.
Yeah, he would have been James Bond. His agent, do his own independent fucking project, or start his own comic business. You got fuck you money, Henry Cavill. You've got fuck you money. Use it.
He's got fuck you money, and he's got nerd cred, so he could do so much. But I just get the feeling that every single time he tries, the whole DEI type, Hollywood bit kicks in and just slaps him down. And I got a feeling that happens every single time he tries to do something. Feel for the dude.
People like
that's a fine with him.
Yeah, and people seem to really fucking like him. He's a very likable guy. He defends the fans. He doesn't call them.
Yep, I was just thinking that he was asked what he thinks about toxic fans. He said there's no such thing as toxic fans. There's passionate fans, and they have a right to be passionate because it's something that you care about. Sorry, something that they care about that you are in charge of, and therefore it's your responsibility to deliver what the fans want. Yeah, whereas with things like Star Wars The Acolyte, you've got them going, she's never seen Star Wars, but I've got a writing for it, and it shows. I know.
Yeah.
At least Ella what's her name? Ella Parnell from Fallout actually played the games before starring in, before she started playing the role in the show, and she actually seems very passionate about it as well. And good.
And I think it shows. I think it shows
as well.
There was problems with Fallout for sure, but I mean, I'm not going to lie. It was like an oasis in a sea of shit, and like the oasis didn't have as much as I wanted it to have, but it was still just nice to have it.
Yeah, I like this. See, I like the scene right here because after he mentions her eyes, talks about, he's like, "Yeah, your coworker, that guy. It's I don't know. How do you feel about him?"
Yeah, he's trying to, he is sort of like interrogating her a little bit as well. He's making sure that she's not got eyes for him. She's got eyes. She has not got eyes for her co-worker. She has because he sees him as competition. She's with him all the time, every day, and he has this little suspicion that she might have a thing for him. And he's sort of trying to find
stuff out about her so he can use that in the future. I really appreciate the fact that Blue Collar's reminding us that we are supposed to be watching Taxi Driver.
We've gone on tangents, don't we?
Dude.
Trust me, I love Henry Cavill too. Man.
We do. We love the bastard.
Well, who doesn't?
This is the scene right here that kind of alerted me to his sociopathic tendencies, the way he was kind of grilling Betsy. Can't remember exactly what he was saying, but just the way he was acting and the questions he was asking didn't come across as just a normal conversation.
Is it sociopath? I can't remember. I'm no psychological major, but I mean, certainly there would be a
I don't think he's.
that would fit him.
Yeah, he's got some sociopathic tendencies, but I think there's another name for the condition that he has. Is some of there's so many conditions of the psychological world.
Hail, Nix.
He's probably got most of them.
I mean, you could certainly, if he has been in Vietnam, there could be PSTD in there and all sorts of stuff. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, honorable discharge, I think it was.
It was an honorable discharge, yeah.
Yeah, sure, maybe.
Well,
yeah.
According
maybe
to Google,
down.
I typed in what Google considers Travis, and they're saying he's a schizotypal personality disorder.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, because like you say, it might explain the way he contradicts himself a little bit as well. Like here he is a little bit charming, but at the same time, there's still that awkwardness to him because
it's like because he is friendly. It's like they're friendly people and towards others, but they're very uncomfortable in social circumstances. Almost like, I mean, nowadays we would call these people inverts or are introverts.
Yeah, but she's obviously fascinated though, isn't she? She's really fascinated. The fact that he's just gone out and said this stuff as well, just pure honestly, it has intrigued her because I don't think she ever comes across people who are that bloody honest. Because most of the time we're sort of like being polite to people a little bit as well. We don't want to just start shit for saying the wrong thing. It's
I mean, he's probably masking to some extent. He's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They kind of do as well, don't they? I mean, because when you look at most real serial killers, they weren't just fucking awkward, socially removed people. Some of them could be very well charming people. And
Ted Bundy was an absolute ladies' man. Ladies' man. It's just a shame he ended up murdering most of them. He was a very, very charming man. You know.
Yeah, he did some really fucked up stuff.
Did he ever?
No, and it does bring up the conversation, and it brings up the little conversation about Chris Christopherson, and he's a prophet and a pusher, partly true.
Plus, he's a songwriter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it does describe his character really well. He is a walking contradiction, and he's partly true, partly because he's honest, but he's kind of a liar as well in a way. And I don't like the fact that
I think he's honest from his own perception and his own standard.
His own point of view.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like he believes his own bullshit a little bit too much.
Yeah, next scene, man, we get some vinyl. Boy, I'm actually happy that vinyl's still in certain circles popular in 2024. But a lot of people still prefer vinyl over CDs.
I got a couple of friends who still prefer vinyls.
Massive comeback.
Yeah.
HMV in Manchester, the CDs are not listed by genre. The vinyl is.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, was it Lady Gaga? Lady Gaga, her last album, she actually put out in digital and vinyl. And even in my area, you can go to a local mall or Best Buy and still buy newer vinyl record players, and you can still buy vinyl in Best Buy or like FYE or something. Vinyl is still it's a niche market, but it's viable.
It's very, very, very trendy at the moment. Whether or not it'll last or not, I don't know. But I mean, I support any kind of physical media, so be it vinyl or CD. I mean, hell, some people
I'm still buying DVDs, even though I still buy because I'm still buying dusty old DVDs, even though there's Blu-rays and 4Ks out there. But occasionally, I'll still go for DVDs because they're fucking cheap.
I've got some Betamax in the loft if you want it. I think I've got a Bruce Lee movie in the.
Oh yeah, they've got to be worth some fucking money to collectors, though. Them now, Jesus.
Possibly, I've got the original Star Wars as well on VHS. I think it's the original cut as well.
So we've got a comment from Nix here saying, could it be some kind of autism kicking in? He being a taxi driver, different wiring to keep in the streets and traffic and that mind and adapt to it. I think they did do studies on it. As somebody who is diagnosed autistic myself, which is why unfortunately sometimes I do tend to interrupt people and sometimes talk it over to people, and I do apologize about that in advance. My social cues are not developed. I'm not exactly seeing that from Travis here. I'm seeing, although there are a couple of maybe autistic tendencies, none of the cues you would expect to see are there. And also, as Blue Collar said, I certainly see more of a schizophrenic outlook from him, where he is quite literally a different person. With me, for example, I don't really know how to be somebody else. So what you get is me unfiltered all the time, which has cost me more jobs than I can count, because I will quite literally turn around to my manager and say he's a prick. When then somebody else would be like, great idea, boss. Yeah, we'll do that. And underneath their breath thinking, you fucking prick. I'll just go, no, you're a fucking prick, mate. And that's it. I don't tend to get promoted in jobs and stuff like that. So I'm not really seeing that from Travis, but certainly these days, I would think with the way that people look at mental health, they would be going that way. The whole TikTok generation would be, oh yeah, you know, he's an incel, autistic, all that kind of stuff. But I'm not necessarily seeing it myself.
It seems like I'm coming across more people who are autistic every day, and I don't know if it's if it was the vaccines that from the 80s that started doing it, because there seems to be a big fucking rise in autism in kids now these days. Since
I think there's two elements to that. One, things that would have been picked up as autism back in the day were just seen as bad behaviour. So mine was totally missed. I was only diagnosed a few years ago as an adult. So I think A, people are a lot more aware of it now, but B, again, thanks to TikTok and all that bollocks, there's a trend and a popularity to pretending that you've got these things. You've got people on TikTok pretending to have Tourette's.
Yeah, on top of two, people get like a lot of like, oh, I went to Wikipedia and you know what? I've read these symptoms. I must have cancer. Wait, what?
Yeah, self-diagnosis.
That happens a lot. So yeah, like you're saying, Luke, a lot of people may say, oh, I'm autistic. I'm like, well, are you autistic because you think you are, or you actually are?
Yeah, I mean, there is a thing as such as self-diagnosed, but you know, until you've got a proper diagnosis from a professional, which took me 3 years to get, you can't make that assertion for sure. But as I say, a lot of stuff that would have been picked up as that back in the day would be seen as bad behaviour. Like if you look at my reports from school and stuff, it's all written there large. It's just 30 years ago, unfortunately, I was at school. It wasn't. It just wasn't.
A lot of schools didn't know anything about dyslexia back then as well, did they?
No, that's it exactly. It's just viewed as disruptive or you know, wasn't paying attention and stuff like that. So it's very different. But social media has certainly not helped, and that's why I would dread to see a remake of this movie, because, as you said, he'd be incel central. He'd be put down, and he wouldn't be this deeply developed character in the slightest.
Yeah, and plus he there is a, like you said, I think there is kind of some kind of autistic tendency, because when she says he's a prophet and a pusher, he automatically assumes that she means a drug dealer. He's like, I'm not pusher, I've not pushed, and it's like it's metaphorical. He's like, he should, you know, it's not literal.
There's a lot of crossover between the different, you know, especially with like, because there used to be different types of autisms. You used to have dyspraxia, used to have Asperger's, and now it's just all listed as ASD, as a spectrum like everything else on the planet, apart from opinions, apparently. And, you know, I think you could certainly see a lot of that in there, but I don't, the way that his character develops takes me away from that in what he does going forward. I don't see that as being, there's a deeper psychological problem there for what happens to his character, put it that way.
It's cool definitely he's definitely a guy that needs help, but he's just not seeking it. He doesn't feel like he does need help, but and cool obviously he comes across the actual Palatine as well, and
what are the chances the candidate happens to hop into his cab of the crushing of the girl he's crushing on?
That's it exactly. He's so nice.
It could be something he's envisioning.
Because he thinks he's in with this girl. He thinks he's in with his girl. So he's like, being super nice, and like, oh, and then later he tries to tries to kill him. So
I know.
I do like this dialogue though, where he's like, I've learned more riding in taxi cabs than all limos in the country. But there was this thing back in the 70s where taxi cab drivers it was like your barber. People like even like shows like House of Cards with Kevin Spacey. It's this like kind of unwritten rule where the barber was like it was your therapist, your priest, and people would tell taxi cab drivers stuff you wouldn't tell anybody else because it's a stranger. You're gonna deal with this guy for 5 or 6 minutes. But taxi drivers had that whole salt of the earth, blue collar worker vibe to them. And if you're a presidential candidate, you want to hear what the common man, how he feels about the world.
Yeah, no, they always seem to be very well read as well. Even the ones I've disagreed with, they always sound like they've actually gone into fucking great detail about what they've looked into to talk about it enough when driving. It's these should be half these guys should be fucking teachers, not the actual teachers we have today in public schools. It's
well, they've got life experience, haven't they? Their entire life is so many short interactions, which again is not helping Travis here at all. What he needs is a deep emotional connection with somebody, and he's not getting it because his entire life is, as Blue Collar says, 5-6 minute interactions with people, constantly different.
And he does kind of unload that a little bit on the very guy who could fucking change all that. And I like the look on Palatine here as well. He looks a little bit unsettled by Travis Bickle as well. He sees, this guy's really been down in the fucking dumps, and it's really getting to him.
Well, I would imagine that. Even though he said that he likes to ride in taxis, not many taxi drivers are going to be as honest as Travis Bickle. Not many of them are going to have that jaded, broken down perception of life around him, where he's saying, look, you've got to clean up this filth, you've got to clean up, I see it and it makes me sick, I just want somebody to come in and just wash it all away, which is the dream that you might have, and the ideal vision that he sees for himself and Betsy before he works out who she really is, and that she's not that interested in him. So as I say, I almost feel in this, even though we don't get to see it a lot, New York is almost a character in this movie, again, as cities tend to be in all great movies. It's an oppressive character on Travis Bickle, and it's having as much of a impact on his psyche as any of the human interactions he has at any point in the film.
100%.
No, you barely see the nicer areas. It's always the more shitty, run-down areas, the decaying areas.
No wide shots. Like I said earlier, it's the seedy underbelly of New York City, the nightlife, I guess. And I've never been to New York City, so I have no idea. But I would imagine it's quite a different city at night compared to what it is during the day, even now.
100%, yeah.
Do you think Travis Bickle's character there, do you think he was being sincere to Palatine when he was saying how much he loved him and thought he was a great guy, even though he probably thought and knew that Palatine's not going to pull off most of his policies if he ever gets into power? Do you think
I think at that point,
obviously he goes on to try and assassinate him, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's not lying to himself, but Palatine is one of the good guys.
At that point, he probably did like him because he liked him because he was like the gateway between him and
he was in with Betsy.
Yeah, he wasn't just another taxi driver sort of kissing up to him as well. He actually really did have some opinions to share, some thoughts to share with him, and
he didn't hold back on his the way to reform the city. He was,
and obviously we come across to another part that becomes
look how young she is, man.
Kind of like his second goal as well. That would later become his second goal to some kind of salvation, and that's Iris here, who's played by a 13-year-old Jodie.
13-year-old, yeah.
I know.
Wait, she's 13. This?
Yeah, she's 13. She was born in 1962. So she would have been 13 at the time.
And she's playing a prostitute.
Yeah, that was one of the big controversies about the film.
Yeah. But her performance was absolutely sublime. I thought she was absolutely amazing.
Now, I know they never say characters' names, but is a character in the movie 13 as well, or just supposed to be older?
12 and a half, I think. Sport says 12 and a half, doesn't it?
Yeah, 12 and a half. And it's looking like she's trying to get away as well. And then we come across these this pimp who you never see just yet. But obviously Travis Bickle isn't doing anything about it. He's wondering what the fuck is just happening here. And they'd even thrown this crumpled up fucking dollar note, and and I love how he just keeps the dollar note and returns it back to the owners later. He never uses it.
$20.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the $20 that he doesn't give to what's his name when he says he owes him money.
I do like too, Travis, when he looks in the rearview mirror, just that look. He's always see right there in the mirror, just his eyes just staring at the temp, like, and just more like you see right there, like even a half hour into the film, like, man, something eventually is about to happen. Travis is gonna fucking snap.
Oh yeah, it's all build up, isn't it? Like his perception of reality is just slowly peeling away while the hate grows inside of him.
I mean,
yeah, he just looks at that 20. Yeah, he just looks at that $20.
Bro.
I know. And it is understandable. He's constantly seeing just the bad side of the city all the time. He's barely seen anything positive or to give him some kind of optimism.
Yeah, he feels like he's swimming in a sewer of filth, or like the wife said. I think he said it was a coffin going down.
Yeah, like a big yellow coffin.
Filth. Yeah, big yellow coffin.
Trapped in it.
And right there, Luke, it's seen it's at the 32-minute mark as he's driving away. A bunch of black dudes come out and they start egging his car or egging his taxi cab.
Yeah, I missed that bit.
It's just adding that much more to how pissed off he is already. You got just random guys egging the shit out of your taxi cab. Like, man,
it does sort of make him convince, sort of add to I think some kind of like casual racism to the character, because Paul Schrader claims.
Yeah, I did read that.
It's very racist, but it's just not. It's a bit more subtle, like the way he looks at those pimps in the cafe, and
it changed the entire end scene, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did read that this morning that they changed it because initially he was going to kill only black guys and his character would be more racial.
Yeah, because they thought it would be socially irresponsible if
they thought that would have been a big, even more. The film was already controversial as it is. Imagine that, you know.
Yeah, like the racism still is in there. Like when he goes to see Peter Boyle to tell him just how shit things have gotten. Is he just stares at these two black kids that are harassing this fucking prostitute and. So the racism is still there. It's just not. It's just not so on the nose.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so he's definitely kind of got some kind of prejudice to him, but
he's wearing that suit again, though. Looks nice.
I know. And he's got a tie and everything.
It's date, isn't it? That's it. He's scrubbed up.
And I love how everyone else is just blared out while he's in focus. It just highlights just how more isolated he is, despite the fact he's trying to get out of it.
Michael Chapman was the cinematographer. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, he does a great job of it. He does a great job.
I know it's sorry.
Sorry, go on.
I'll say we'll get into it later. But you look at that red suit, boy. That red suit seems very familiar to a film later on called Joker. It's like but you can see. I mean, how many fucking? That's why I could see people saying how much Joker took off this film. Even that outfit is fucking written Joker.
I know. Yeah, I love what Nix is saying. He looked into the abyss of the city veins and the rot of existence looked back. Yeah, that's how I feel about Hull. So,
did you find that chip shop? Did you find that fish and chip shop I told you about?
Oh yeah, it's only down there the road. It's been there a couple of times with the lads after a few drinks. It's a good chippy.
Might have to pop down.
Yeah. And this is supposed to be a real guy who used to a street entertainer in New York back in the times. He would put this like shoe polish in his hair and do all these drums, and Martin Scorsese obviously wanted to put him in the movie. So yeah, I don't know if is he still alive? Has he been dead for quite a while? I don't know.
Well, he's 45 years later, dude. So
he must. Yeah, if he was alive, he'd probably be in his fucking 90s or something. But I doubt he's still going. It's like you said about New York being a character as well, and you got to have these real life guys that bring that city to life despite its faults.
And it's almost like too, it's when he's walking with her on a date that we can say all day that New York, the entire city, shit. It's not. There's obviously like right here having a nice date. It's they're walking by, listening to music, talking about records. It's almost like when he's with her, now he's seen the better parts of New York, and when he's not with her, the city's shit.
I know, and it's like he is almost almost there to have a meaningful life, but once again he fucks up. Is like that self kind of hatred inside of him, just sort of like that self-destruction, just just drives him unconsciously to lead him even more lonely.
Yeah.
This is just mental. Everybody knows the rule of first cinema date. First cinema date, you go to see a Star Trek movie, right? Second cinema date is Grease, and then the third one is porn. You don't do it till the third date. Jesus, what's wrong with this guy? But he's so desensitized to it. He thinks it's normal. He even says to her when
lots of couples have seen this. I see him every day. And he does think it's like a normal thing. It's
I didn't realize you didn't like this sort of stuff.
Okay. Well, he just thinks it's kind of part of the the makeup of New York, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty decent movie, like.
It looks like a very shit porno. I mean, seeing little sperm floating around, that does not get me horny. Sorry, but no.
I do like how it's making her visually uncomfortable. Yeah, and him, he's just casual watching. Like, yeah, no problem. Some popcorn. I'm used to this shit. Like,
like Fanta said, he's totally desensitized to it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, she does almost go along with it as well, but she thinks, no, I was fascinated by what was happening here. I was prepared to see what would happen next, but this is weird.
Well, before they go in, you can see that she's still intrigued. Even though she's saying, like, do people go into these films? She's like, yeah, couples go all the time. She's like, maybe, but she's intrigued and amused by him, and then that wears off very, very quickly.
This is my first date. Like, honey, this film is British. Okay, that's normal for these guys. It's not. I don't see this shit. Come on.
Yeah,
literally an island of degenerates. That's all they do.
Have a woman being sort of railed by 7 guys. It was called, what was it called? Sometimes Sweet Susan. It should have been called The Raid. If only he'd gone across the street. I don't know if any of you noticed it, but the Eiger sanction was actually playing.
Right there.
And that might have changed the entire story.
Yeah, the more suitable date movie, I think.
Yeah.
I know. If he had just gone across that road, who knows? Yeah, I like that little parallel there. I don't even think Martin Scorsese intended for that to be dissected, and I don't like the fact that it's looking like he is actually talking to her again, but it turns out he's talking to a fucking voice message, isn't he?
I miss answer machines.
I know. But he's going on and on as well, isn't he? And right up to the point where the camera decides to look away, and because it's like, I can't watch this poor guy just make things more awkward. I'm looking
for flowers.
I guess he kind of feels like he can save her from the filth that is New York, and when she rejects him, he realizes that the only way he's gonna get any validation or redemption is by saving somebody else, which is why Iris becomes important, I guess.
Yeah, that's actually a good fucking point. That really is. And obviously, she's not buying it anymore, and that image is destroyed. He feels fucking betrayed that the very thing he's envisioned as perfect is not perfect. She's just like everyone else, and
that's it. It's just the rejection.
I do like it with the whole diary. Yeah, it's like saying, look, with diaries, like my headache's getting worse. I think I have stomach cancer. Like, dude, it's not that bad.
Thankfully, Google wasn't about then, because otherwise he would have self-diagnosed it.
And plus, he doesn't know how to handle the fact that she's just another fucking person. She's not this perfect, pure thing for him to worship and fucking save. And it's
and the thing is, the very next thing or next scene in the film that he has after this is the guy who's getting cheated on and wants to blow away his wife with the 44 Magnum.
I know, and when I first saw this movie and I saw that scene with Martin Scorsese playing the creepy passenger, I thought, oh, this guy was a genuine sicko. He's going to do this. But then I saw an interview with Paul Schrader, and he was saying, no, who's the real fucking psycho here? It's Travis. Yeah. This guy is wronged. His hair, he's been badly fucking cheated on by a dishonest wife, and he's just, all he's doing is unloading. All he's doing is unloading his feelings, all his anger, and that's it. He's just venting his frustration.
Also, small detail, Luke, the previous scene when he first goes confront her into her work, you can tell like he's got bags under his eyes, dude. His hair's messed up. He tells the guys like since last time she saw him, like he just looks like he's just run down and he's all angry and shit. But like it's just good makeup job under his eyes, how baggy they are, like. They threaten.
No,
They
his
hope
skin's all fucking
she dies.
greasy and everything. It's like, yeah, this guy does not look healthy. He needs serious fucking help.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think Travis actually does see this guy's venting his frustration, and he tries to do the same with Peter Boyle in the hopes that he might unload some of this burden that's weighing him down. But once again, we see these other, and once again, you only see them for a few minutes, but they are very funny, and you get who these characters are straight away just by the little manner bits of dialogue they're given.
Yeah.
It's like they've got this coping mechanism for dealing, because obviously they're going to get the same customers that Travis gets, but their coping mechanism is to joke about it, to chat about it, to diffuse the emotions they get in that way. And Travis he's just too far gone. That's why he can't really join in with the banter.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why he distances himself when he's in the cafe, like we said before in the previous scene. It's because those guys are making jokes about the stuff that he takes really seriously. So
that's a good point. Yeah,
he's sort of
trivializing it. Mentally depressed as well.
Yeah. Why do you not hate all the scum like what I do? You're making jokes, so he kind of he doesn't agree.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I don't kind of get why Travis sees that, but you've got to have a sense of humor about everything. I mean, life is really fucking hard. That's why people see it as a defense mechanism. It's sort of it helps you get through it all. It's I've been fucking badly depressed as well, and it's not nice. And dwelling on it doesn't fucking help. You kind of got to get on with it and just interact with people, talk to family, talk to friends as much as you can, and not isolate yourself so much. Otherwise, you're just gonna fucking do yourself in. And it's a bad thing that happens with so many males in this world as well. I mean, males are the biggest have the biggest contribution to suicide, and it's and
especially the past 5 years, man. It's the rates.
It's men's mental health month this month as well.
Yeah, and mental health month.
Yep, specifically men's mental health month. Same as Pride Month for some reason. I have no idea why. But, yeah.
Oh yeah. yeah. Celebrating mentally ill fucking people instead of actually helping mentally ill people.
I think the problem is that for men, it's really hard, because obviously if you act like a man, you instantly get labelled toxic masculinity, and the fact of the matter is that men just deal with things slightly different, and I think men need to be told that it's okay to let off some steam. It's okay to let off aggression. That's the way that men handle shit. A woman goes and gets drunk and slags off people and stuff like that, and a bloke might go and let off some physical steam, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, men and women are built very differently. And to just bring men down all the time and tell them they're toxically masculine and that they're wrong for all the evils in the world, well, that's not going to do any favor for men's mental health at all.
Men don't tend to talk about it
as well. But what if you can't? What if you don't have the safety net to fall on, like friends and family? And fucking honest, I wish I could answer that. I really don't. I really hope you're not fucking going through that, Nick. All right, I know we take the piss a little bit, but if you really are having that problem, do try and find some help. I really hope you do. I hope you are doing well, man. I really do.
Yeah.
A valid support network is one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Even if you don't use it all the time, just to know that they're there for you, because it is very hard.
Yeah.
I've battled with depression, and the last thing you feel is like making that call or speaking to somebody, but to know that there's people who've got your back is very important.
Yeah, and the scene here doesn't help that you see like just yet another woman getting bullied by a bunch of young black males, and it's making them that much more pissed off. Like,
and it has sort of built into his prejudice a bit more as well. But before I continue with Taxi Driver, if you know anyone who is going through some real problems that are kind of a little bit similar to Taxi Driver, but maybe not so extreme, or maybe they are becoming extreme, then do try and convince them to get some fucking help, because we don't, because I want to see less males committing fucking suicide or doing something drastic just because they didn't get the fucking help they needed.
That's everybody. My best friend is called Jack Daniels. He's always there for me. He never judges me. He's my friend.
Yeah, I'll move on now. But yeah, obviously Travis Bickle is really trying to find some kind of closure to his pain, and Peter Boyle's character is really wizard. He's trying to help as best he can, but he can't.
He has no significant, meaningful relationship in his life at all. You know, he hasn't got any pets or anything like that. He's, as you say, absolutely alone.
I know, and you can tell Wizard and the other guys probably do have a bit more of a social life than he does, and you can see people's really trying to help him here, but he has no idea what to say. It's like, what can I do to help this guy? All I can say is just don't fucking worry so much, and it's kind of good advice, but at the same time, it's not always enough, though, is it? Especially depending on the person. And obviously, some people
naturally push people away anyway. Some people, as you say, are naturally introverts, and they don't, you know, that they are not what you would call gregarious. They're not comfortable in large social gatherings, which goes for me as well. I hate large crowds, hate it. Sensory overload central. But yeah, with Travis, he is just, there's any time he's not in the cab or working, he is on his own. He is on his own in his apartment, or he's on his own effectively in a porno theatre. Obviously there's other people in there with him, but he's not with any of those people. He is isolated.
Yeah.
And he writes letters to his parents, but we don't even know if his parents are still alive.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So he could be doing that to feel that emotional connection that he's after.
I'm not sure if you can show Lupa. Like, I've never seen anyone have a breakfast where he's got bread, he's dumping maple syrup and a box of sugar done to a bowl of bread. What the hell am I?
Is that what it is? I thought it was
it's kind of like comfort food as well, isn't it? I mean, I've done the comfort eating. It's not fucking good. It's not good. And
I'm just like who dumps fucking maple syrup on top of bread plus sugar on top of, holy shit?
Travis Bickle.
Honestly, putting maple syrup on top of bacon and meats and stuff like that for breakfast is probably the biggest gift of America to the world. Because in England we have the full English, and we would never think of doing anything like that, and it was a game changer.
That's a breakfast.
Nix is saying it's fine. I'm dealing. Yeah, I think I don't think going on my streams is helping you, man.
Maybe not with this film. For Christ's sake, don't watch Grave of the Fireflies anytime soon.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot. I'm trying to wake up the courage to watch it, but
it's a film that's hard to watch more than once. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, am I going to be reaching the fucking toilet duck after watching that film? I don't know.
What is that? What film is that?
It's a Studio Ghibli film, so it's Japanese animation, Grave of the Fireflies, but it's set in post nuclear explosion Hiroshima or Nagasaki.
Oh Jesus!
And it's a young boy and his sister trying to survive, and their mother's in hospital with radiation poisoning and everything like that. And it is fucking bleak, like really bleak. It is a hard watch. I've only been able to watch it once.
Lovely.
And, I'd watch it again to study it, but I wouldn't watch it again to enjoy it. That's for sure. Because there's things at the start of the film that you realise at the end of the film are completely different to what you thought they were, and it just kind of breaks you a little bit.
Nice.
I'm going to try and watch
brutal, especially for an animation. It's just that's the craziest thing about it.
Should be miserable all day. Bless her.
Yeah, no, I mean, check it out, but make sure that you're in a good mood, because you won't be by the end of it.
Oh, I'm never in a good mood.
Grave of the Fireflies, Nix. Grave of the Fireflies.
Grave of the Fireflies. Don't do it, Nix.
I wouldn't recommend it. I really wouldn't. It is not it's not a happy film in the slightest.
Yeah, watch Superbad instead. That's quite nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I like the fact he's still trying to have got this hope that he could still win her back, but once again that kind of fleets away straight away. And once again he runs into Iris again, who's just and
again maybe he even sees himself as a prophet, because he says, "I'm God's lonely man."
Yeah.
Just before then he's writing in the diary. So
but I think it does sort of start to encourage him a little bit more to start taking a little bit more action to right, I'm sick of seeing all this stuff in the streets. I'm actually going to try and start doing something. And this yeah, and this is probably what really sparks it off.
Well, I think we're coming up to the stage where he burns his hand on the light on the stove. I think it is.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about getting, sort of gets his war face on, if you know what I mean, the first time around before it starts to drop.
He was really pissed at having seen Jodie Foster and her friend on that corner there hooking up with those two guys.
Yeah.
Because blink and you miss it, but he doesn't just drive away from the lights. He actually screeches his tires and has a look of sort of disgust on his face at what he's just witnessed.
I know. Plus, it's
more
even,
frustration.
He even says my life is starting to take another turn. Like the days I was saying, but then suddenly there is change, and it's like, this is where it's really starting to escalate. Where he's actually not just thinking about inflicting violence to choose the well. He is actually going to go through with it now. He's actually going to.
Well, this is it. This is where he knows he needs to get the instruments to make the change that he wants to make. Nick, try not to watch that film on your own if you can.
Yeah. When he's writing down his journal, besides like seeing the maple syrup, okay, we see a bottle of aspirin, a second bottle of pills. We have no idea what's in that bottle.
No idea. Yeah, I don't know if it's antacid or what, but because his diet's shit.
I know, shit diet, no sleep, and alcohol, pills. Well. Fucking right, man.
Yeah, and this is where he starts getting all the guns. He's from his friend the Doorboy as well.
And this is the other thing. If he was a Marine, you'd expect him to be quite aware of these films. Again, going back to the film I watched the other day, The Highwayman. There's the scene where Kevin Costner goes in and buys all the guns. It's like the Terminator in the Terminator, where Arnold goes in, and in this, Travis seems to be quite ignorant on the firepower of these weapons, which you would expect him to not be if he was a Marine.
I can only assume, because I'm not military man. Our friend Lord Toxic would be. If you're going to the Marines, you might not have this kind of training for these kind of weapons, because there's very specific guns inside the Army. These are not. Okay. These are not Army issued weapons. I'm just guesstimating, but like that's my only explanation, because like the Army wouldn't be training you how to fucking hold a Magnum or a hand pistol. You have rifles.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
such matters.
It would have probably been the M16
will be more tactical or practical, I should say.
Plus, Nick's seen it and forgotten about it. Yeah, I don't blame you. I can't forget about it.
Yeah, these are not army guns. I think maybe the Walther PPK is kind of can kind of be a government issued gun, depending on which government. But stuff like the Derringer, the Snub Nose, the 57 Magnum, that does not look like army shit. That
it would have probably been the Colt, because at the Colt 1911.
Yeah, 9/11. Yeah,
1911. And the M16 was pretty much what they used in Vietnam anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think the Berettas were starting to improve a little bit more as well in the 70s, because back in the 50s, it was kind of just this really tiny gun that would just fucking jam a lot. So,
yeah.
But it's kind of, it doesn't even feel like gun porn here. It actually feels like gun horror in a way.
Yeah, I
you don't, because unlike John Wick, where he's getting all the guns and it actually looks like it's fetishizing guns. This, you just feel more disturbed seeing this stuff.
And they look like all the cast-offs of they're like weapons that nobody else really wanted. There's nothing recognizable there, like you said. There's no sort of 1911s and stuff that you would recognize.
Yeah, and I like the actual plays the salesman as well. He actually looks like a guy who knows his fucking stuff, and he's made a really good living doing this shit.
Yeah,
he really has.
Well, he spends a lot of money on those guns.
I know. Yeah, fucking. And to be honest, could they be cheaper in a gun store legally? I don't know. Well, he's not buying this legally, is he?
No, this is a very back street.
Oh, dude, if you walk to a gun store and bought this much ammunition, there's a lot of questions they're going to be asked.
Yeah, so he wants to keep it very fucking, very incognito, doesn't he? Yeah. That's why he's doing it. So, that's why he's going down this road. I love the fact that the guy's like, all right, so you bought the guns. How about some mescaline downers, fucking drugs, everything? We'll get you high, man. It's like... and he's
so
really
obviously as somebody who's never fired a gun in their life, in the shooting range scene, which is very short, does he seem like a competent shot?
No. Because he's blinking a lot as well. I mean, Toxic Mate will know more about this, and But I don't think a guy who knows how to handle fucking guns who would be blinking the way he did.
Mm.
So there's definitely
unless it's something to do with the PSTD
I
or
mean,
something like that.
maybe
but-
also it could be too like maybe it's like Robert De Niro's lack of training. Remember, this is '70s versus like Terminator 2. You know, Robert Patrick trained for 6 months and Arnold trained for 6 months. They probably just like had De Niro he didn't have like the gun training based on the budget back in the '70s. You know.
You mean Americans aren't out of the cradle able to fire weapons? I don't believe it.
That would be funny.
Yeah. Plus gun handling was a lot. Gun handling has always been they've always been changing approaches to how to handle a gun, haven't they? For a long time, like they didn't have police officers holding pistols with both hands until like the late 50s. You know, before then they had to shoot one-handed because
yeah, you said that during the oh god, what was it? Tombstone.
Yeah, because that always puzzled me.
They didn't have the two-handed grip.
So that puzzled me for a long time. When did people start holding pistols with both hands? And and Toxic really fucking established that. And obviously, if you watch this,
it just went up by like 40%.
Yeah. If he watches this later, he probably might be able to establish a little bit more on Travis Bickle's gun handling, and it might even clarify.
That's what the comment section's for, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because even though I'm a dumbass, there's always smarter people in the comments that'll correct me, and that I want to be corrected, so I know.
Nobody's learning on everything, are they?
He does have a scar over his shoulder, though, indicating he could be actually, military.
Oh yeah, military action, yeah.
Or maybe he was abused.
I'd seen right there, man, holding the fucking hand against a fire, like that's I guess pain tolerance you want to build up. Like I don't get the practical effects of burning your hand like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently when you fire guns, you're not meant to hold your arms totally straight. You're supposed to have some flex there.
Yeah, because it kicks back into your elbow, they always say.
Yeah.
That's why.
So you turn your elbows into shoulders.
Yeah, you can see this guy's totally cracked. He's not looking at pornos in a very meaningful way for relationships. He's seen it as he's just fucking practicing his eye and everything. And I think there is some kind of amateurish approach to his gun handling, the way he's sort of like prepping himself up in the mirror and hey, Diabolical Souls, how you doing, man?
Hey there.
Just talking taxi driver.
Hello.
Look at that Magnum. Yeah.
Maybe you'll be able to establish if Travis Bickle actually was in the army, because we have a theory that some of the ways handling guns is very amateurish. The way he blinks when he shoots, and the way he sort of acts out like he's the sort of tough guy, and there's some kind of Western with his guns as well.
Well, it just feels when he. Sorry, no, carry on.
No, see, I do appreciate too, like De Niro, like, he's in shape, but I think we're so used to nowadays where, man, boy, now it's like, hey, 6 months of steroids and shit, looking like the fucking Rock. This is a attainable goal of a guy who's doing push-ups, pull-ups, jogging, crunches. He's not like all jacked out and shit,
No, he's lean and ripped, isn't he? But I was going to say that because as we've discussed, as the film goes on, Travis steadily becomes more militaristic. Even going down to the stage where he shaved his head and everything like that. And it doesn't feel like he's going back to being a soldier to me. It feels like he's putting on a mask, like he's adopting a role almost. I don't know if that's what was intended with the performance, but he just doesn't strike me as being very, like military people, from what I understand. Obviously, I know he was honorably discharged, but very disciplined, very precise. And he just doesn't seem to have that. So I do question.
And even if he isn't ex-army, he does still seem to be a little bit resourceful, like the way he's making his
Marines.
For his gun to come out of his collar, it's he does a good job with it, even though it's a little bit.
He's a bit MacGyver there, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it's crude looking though, but he still manages to make use of it, doesn't he?
Mm.
And it's all quiet, it's all silent. It's
the score in this is very understated. It works when it needs to. Again, in modern films, so much of this movie would be so much more obscenely, emotionally manipulative than it needs to be to make the audience feel something at certain times, rather than letting the film just do its thing.
I know, and it does almost feel like a document. It does almost feel documentary, like that. It's like some people's actually had a secret camera and filmed this serial killer or this psychotic soon-to-be killer building up to his violent masterpiece.
Yeah, there's a massive realism to the cinematography. Like even the filter used there's no sort of glamorizing it or glossing it. It doesn't look like a massive, even for the time, sort of Hollywood blockbuster. De Niro himself is not like, sort of like white teeth and perfect looking, all that kind of stuff. Fandad, who did you say the cinematographer was?
What's his name? Michael Chapman.
Michael Chapman. I have to check out some
He
of his
started
other work.
off. He was a camera operator on Godfather and Jaws.
Oh wow, okay.
But he's done things like Raging Bull. He did the Bad video for Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay, right, okay. So yeah, he's
The Wanderers was another one. And you watched this the other week, Northern. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Yeah, that's a very funny movie. It really was. So yeah, he shot that movie as well.
Cinematographer on that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why it's. I think that's why he still managed to capture a very good that noirish tone of the movies, because this does, like you said before, this does feel very noirish. But I also feel it's obviously got a little bit of Hitchcock in there as well, and I think he was inspired by Jean-Luc Godard as well. That's why there's always like these odd little camera shots as well, like when Travis Bickle is on the phone to Betsy after his disastrous date, and the camera just pans to the hallway because seeing him failing to win her back is just so uncomfortable to watch, and it's too hard to watch.
Yeah, it's as if he's just talking to nobody. He's he's talking to the streets of New York practically. But there's a lot of very good camera choices within the film itself.
The other thing I've noticed is that Travis Bickle is very rarely centre of the frame.
Yeah.
Very rarely centre of the frame. Like, hardly at all.
I feel like, and it makes sense as well. Like, he's not in the centre of his own movie. It's, he's isolated. Even though he's the main character, he's isolated in his own movie. Like, I like that.
I did hear one time, a long time ago, that apparently the centre of the frame is the weakest part of the frame. So if anything's ever dead centre, it's something to do with weakness. I don't know if that is true or not.
Yeah, I think I noticed that. Is that when when they started releasing the films in widescreen, and you notice that the when you get VHS, you get the very square frame, don't you?
Yeah, we had 4x3 in the middle of it.
But when you found out that it was originally filmed in widescreen, and you watch those films again, the characters like in the right side of the screen or the left. No, that was a very weird thing that after I realised that, and I don't know, and I think I see why, because I've seen a few bad widescreen movies where the character is in the centre and it just looks fucking weird. There's like so many gaps and there's a big wide blank space half the time.
Well, there you go. Look on screen now. That guy there, he's in the centre.
Yeah,
and then De Niro makes a mockery of him, even though he's 6'5" and De Niro's like 3'2". He has the upper hand. De Niro has the upper hand on this Secret Service guy. So maybe
is he like trying to cause some kind of psychological warfare a little bit, like get someone on edge a little bit, so when he does execute his plan, there's a little bit more there's a little more pressure added onto the situation. I don't know, because he's obviously trolling this guy a little bit, isn't he?
Oh, like, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
and I actually do find this scene very fucking funny, even though it's not in a comedic way, but it's like, it's so funny. It's so awkward. You can't help but laugh a little bit. Just the way he's acting in front of and being sarcastic in front of this Secret Service guy. And he talks about there's these guys in the crowd somewhere that look very suspicious, and come on, he's the one that looks more suspicious than any other person in that crowd. And it just
absolutely, yeah.
And he kind of makes this fucking he kind of asks him if he can join the Secret Service. He knows, and I think the Secret Service guy is obviously just trying to humour him a little bit, though. And Travis Bickle probably knows that, and he lies about his address and everything, and then just fucks off.
Well, given what he's planning to do to the politician, it's probably not a good idea to give his details out.
Yes, it's Yeah, he's obviously trying to cause some shit though, but I don't, which probably is not the wisest thing to do. I think because he's not
I think
exactly.
there's a little bit of mind
you know,
games going on there as well.
Yeah.
Like he sees the guy as a symptom of the, or at least a an aspect of the problems, societal problems that he sees. People in power that aren't doing anything to fix things, so he has to step up into that role because he definitely sees himself as the hero of his own story, regardless of what he thinks about himself.
No, exactly. I mean, that's it. And he's becoming more delusional as well and more paranoid. And we've seen a little as well that people seem to know, that people never really seem to mention. That's one scene his hair's all cropped short, next scene his hair's long. So for a while I thought it was just going back and forth in the past, but I'm starting to think that maybe no, it's just the days passing by. His hair's growing out a bit more, so he gets it cut again.
Yeah, I definitely get there's a passing of time. You've got the scene where he's just sitting watching the TV with a gun in his hand, and I just get the feeling that there's all sorts of things going, because he doesn't say a damn word and he doesn't even really move his eyes, but you can just kind of feel the torment that's going through him.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the classic scene. Fucking hell,
this has been copied so many times. Iconic, absolutely iconic. It's one of those things where even if somebody hasn't seen Taxi Driver, they know this scene.
Yeah,
because they'll have seen it in something.
And I don't know if this bit always confused me. Like you hear he's in a monologue as well, and he goes, "Listen, you motherfuckers, you screwheads. This is a man who will not." And then he sort of fucks up and starts again. So I was finding that a bit weird. Could you establish that for me, anyone, or offer any insights on that bit?
I think it's just like a false bravado.
Yeah.
Which is the other weird thing with him being an ex-Marine. It just doesn't seem to fit. It really doesn't seem to fit with what I would expect. And as I say, I'm totally ignorant of the military. I don't know. I'm not like toxic or anything like that. But he just doesn't seem to have it. Like I can't see him making the Marines at all.
Yeah, we'll probably ask Toxic if once he watches it, because he's always watching our stuff, and he always finds the time to.
Maybe he was writing that in his diary and just decided to change.
Yeah, like maybe he's a fantasist as well. Like he's probably has had some shit in the past, and he's kind of covering. He's using those kind of delusions to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I still have that contraption though. How fast pops out of his hand, that whatever that bullshit thing he made, a Batman device.
Yeah. As I say, kind of MacGyver. Would you make it out of a plaster cast or something, wasn't it?
Something, yeah. That has some screws and
it takes a drawer apart.
Yep.
I know, and this is the first time we see him kill someone as well. It's just a guy sticking him up. He just wants the money for the till, but and Travis just pulls out the gun. This is like one of his little moments where he can see himself being the hero, and it goes all fucking wrong as well. He's not. Yeah. He kind of has to fucking run as well because he's not got a permit for it.
But the messed up part is the shop owner is actually very thankful for him. He's like, this shit keeps happening, and boy, that's the whole moral question about this part in the movie, man. It's like we are an hour and 10 minutes in. This poor shop owner, the cops ain't doing shit. You keep robbing them. Travis did the shop owner a fucking favor.
It's the vigilante, isn't it? The person who steps up when nobody else will.
I know, because the shop owners is kind of like he's kind of incriminating himself a little bit here as well, because he's covering for Travis, who's got an illegal weapon without a permit, and he's not ringing the police or anything to report on the crime. He's kind of happy to.
He has a bit of fun, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just batters this fucking guy. He's
the corpse. Does he take the gun off Travis? I think.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he hides it.
Yeah, so he could probably take the blame for it, or self-defense kind of thing. Get Travis off the hook.
Yeah, I've seen this actor in a few things as well. I think he's in King of New York. He's one of the coppers who works with Wesley Snipes and David Caruso, but I might be wrong there. But he looks like him, a little bit younger with more hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously we come back to this other scene as well, and once again he's looking at these two happy couples dancing to this very romantic rock and roll song. But
It should be
When I
me.
listen to the lyrics, I'm wondering if those lyrics mean Travis Bickle as well. Like, how long have I been drifting? It's and there's no words to say. There's no words spelling anything out as well. You can just see.
You've got to think what he's thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, everyone is dancing. Everyone's got someone lovely to hold and be with, and he's just sat there and just in total despair with nobody.
You've got the scene later where he destroys the TV, and the dialogue on the TV at that time is very telling.
Yeah, that's right. I know it feels very soap opera-ish as well, but that's how it kind of goes with his very fantasized version of romance and relationships.
Well, that's it. Yeah, exactly. He sees these, as you say, happy people, but he just kind of realizes that at the same time, it's all kind of a facade. It's all fake. You know, what the TV shows you isn't real. You've got the transparency fallacy in effect there, where it's all filtered, it's all created, it's curated as much as created.
Yeah, I know. And the fact that it's a couple as well, where the woman is probably leaving her husband and he's trying to save.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly, that's it. Because he's tipping. It's such a cool, I guess, metaphor for his mental state, because it's teetering on the edge as he's rocking it with his foot. Before finally he just lets the TV go. I think just after she says she loves him, but she's leaving him or something like that, and he just lets the TV go and it goes over and crashes. And again, you feel like that's another tipping point in his mental health.
Yeah, I know, and he's like wondering, what the fuck did I just do? What is up with me? And then we come to him writing to his parents, telling that he's a Secret Service guy, and is once again, just establishing more and more what kind of a guy he is. He has made me realize that this guy is a fantasist.
Yeah. You know, it's also kind of weird too, man. These talking points, 1976, as the politician, he's like, we suffer unemployment, inflation, and these Vietnam vets. That's still, you could say nowadays, like these Iraq vets, but still unemployment, inflation, homelessness, all these things haven't changed since 1976.
Yeah, I know they're saying the same shit. It's like same shit, different politician.
Yeah,
it just goes on and on. And I think his parents are alive though, but he's just not visiting them when he's been getting chance to. He's been so obsessed with his pursuit of salvation. It's clouded his
I don't know if it feels. Maybe he feels like he's infected and he doesn't want to pass it on to them, which is why in his letters he's doing great, he's doing fine. He doesn't let them know about any of the horrible things that he's seeing. I don't know if that might be an element of it or not, but this scene you've got up at the moment is the one where he knocks the TV over.
He also includes in his letter the line, "I hope no one has died."
Yeah, so it goes to show he's not been properly. He's not really had a proper relationship with his family for a good long while. He's definitely not been trying to communicate with them as much as he should.
We don't see him reading a letter from them, do we? So we don't know if they've actually written back to him or if he's just sending, one-way traffic as correspondence.
Yeah, but well, then again, this is a guy who's really lost his grip on reality. So maybe he is in denial about maybe he has no family or anything like that. But that's what's good about this film. There's so many little hints that can that mislead you, but at the same time bring you to some kind of conclusions. And
there's a lot to unpack.
There's so much.
It's a fascinating psychological study of a character.
Do we ever actually see him writing letters, or is it just his monologue?
I think we've seen him write a couple of times in his diary.
Yeah, I saw him writing. I don't think he was writing his diary. I think he was writing a letter. But it could be his diary. You never know.
Because I was wondering, if he's reading out what he's writing to his parents, he could be just putting that in his diary.
Yeah, Nick's raises a good point. We never see him post the letters. We don't know if he actually sends them.
Yeah, but they had it, like you said, unreliable narrator, and I think he is sort of trying to do something a bit normal, like actually try and save her without having to go through extreme measures, because he does actually take a bit of time to get to know who this little girl is, and
he is,
and obviously found out a little bit more about her life, and he's come across this really disgusting bastard called Sport, and Harvey Keitel, man, he's so fucking good.
Yeah.
He's
the first time I saw this, I had no idea. I had no idea.
I mean,
it was
how
Harvey
could
Keitel.
you, man?
Yeah, because he's so fucking young in this as well, and
Yeah.
I'm so used to seeing
Not
him
a
as
clue.
this sort of like craggy faced gangster a lot, but
He was 13, wasn't he?
jacked back in the day, man. He was jacked. I'm jealous of him.
Yeah, man. He's built.
Yeah, we have to be careful.
Again,
with the
not in that
language
massive
here.
Hollywood way, just wiry, you know.
Yeah.
Street tough, not steroid tough.
Well, I was gonna say the way he's like selling her off, just talking about her age and her physical traits. We'll say, you know, let's say on YouTube, but because he's telling him, he's like, you know, you never had a woman like this, indicating.
I know. He's saying all this
age.
disgusting stuff about a kid as well, and he's
And this is the
And,
thing is
yeah.
that it is also blasé to her in the way that pornography that he watches in the theaters is blasé to him. Like she's desensitized to what she does to that extent. And he
she's
still
grown up
sees her
way
as
too-
something that
yeah,
a symbol
she's
of what
grown
he
up way
can
too young.
salvage.
I know, and they've kind of taken her innocence away from her now, and obviously she gets stoned as well, so they're obviously drugging her.
Oh, she's totally corrupted. I mean, she is the very image of innocence lost. Because, you know, as you say, she's 12 and a half. She's just fucking mind-blowing.
I know. And even fucking Sport is suspicious of him a little bit. He doesn't see him as just another fucking customer. He sees that he is that he thinks he's a fucking cop at best, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah.
I know.
To be fair, that is kind of how an undercover cop would dress, I imagine. But what does a fucking paedophile dress like? You know, it's fucking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, in the 70s, they kind of used to wear string vests, stereotypically, anyway. And
the business, the matter of fact way that she goes about things is just, it's chilling. It really is chilling. She's
I know,
totally
it's so fucking easy
broken.
to do it.
It's like with sort of two sides of the same coin, aren't it? It's a bit like a yin and yang thing going on here, because she's desensitized, he's desensitized to like porn and sort of crime and stuff. She is, but he hates it and she just doesn't really care. So there's kind of that connection.
I think he certainly sees a kindred spirit in her, which might be why he's trying to rescue her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and it does kind of redeem him a little bit, though, because you don't want to see him rescue this little girl from this really fucking sordid lifestyle, because no girl should ever be in that kind of environment.
No, as I say, it's chilling, and it's just watching the scene right now. It's just the way that she's going about it. She's so experienced, and it's horrible. It's horrible to see.
It's a very uncomfortable scene.
It's very uncomfortable. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't think
that way when I saw it the first time as well. I was just like, wow, you know, I mean, this is something pretty heavy in the film that, you know, just completely changes the atmosphere totally. Because as you say, you've gone from kind of a silly scene where he was just sort of like messing about this security Secret Service officer, and then a couple of scenes later, after you've watched TV a couple of times, you've got this, and it's just fucking hell.
I know. And she's and even though he's trying to convince her this is like a really horrible lifestyle, she's like she's sort of convinced that Sport and that other and the other guy is like I've got her best intentions, and they're not. They're just using her for their own personal gain. And I think Travis Bickle is kind of doing this a little bit selfish here as well, because even though he's out to rescue this girl, he is still doing it for his own sort of like validation as well, in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, she's the new icon to him. She's the new thing that, you know, he's not interested unlike Betsy, he's not interested in a romantic or a sexual kind of way at all.
Yeah.
It's just, she's now an ideal of what he can do to make a difference.
This had to be somewhat uncomfortable for De Niro to film, because I mean, she at one point she is grabbing his like,
she's trying to
tries to fancy, like, you know, she's still a 12-year-old kid, even just acting like shit. I don't think I could be comfortable doing that scene.
And this seems to be a little bit misleading as well. Like at first, I thought it was just a clear-cut scene where, okay, she does want to go out and socialize with him a little bit like a normal person. But I might have come to another conclusion where she's humouring him, and the next scene where they're in the diner together is all in his head, like how he's envisioning the conversation.
Okay, yeah. Again, something that was done with Joker, where his neighbor, he thinks she actually became his girlfriend and everything. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of an obvious twist. That I was starting to see, something's up there.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was foreshadowed. It was, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that she would seem perfect as well, because that's how these delusional, lonely people do sort of like build up these false relationships in their head. And
just going to pay attention to this next scene and see if there are any giveaways. But Scorsese doesn't tend to do that. Everything is so subtle. He's not one for Easter eggs or hints or anything like that. He very much leaves you to he presents something and leaves you to make your own decision on it or your own perception.
Yeah, no, that's what's great about this film. It gives you, when they do something like this, like give a bit of ambiguity, help let you come to your own conclusions visually without spelling it out. It gives you something to talk about, especially. And honestly, it's almost like they were made for these live streams as well, where you have a bunch of people just talking and giving their views on something so well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've derailed it a few times thanks to Nick's, but we have largely discussed the film.
And
to be fair, I derail any stream I go on. One of them I just end up talking about like death metal and stuff like that. It's like, oh, sorry.
And obviously, if the scene is real, then obviously he is still showing a little bit of a redeemable side to him. He is trying to get convince her, no, this is not a healthy lifestyle. You should be out with boys. You should be having fun with your friends, and and she sees that she's seen that normality as just dull and boring, and that's why she calls him a square as well.
Yes, she does. Yeah.
I'm in this life.
She just puts sugar on top of jam, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Or jelly, as the Americans would say. So
she's done a lot of the Wilford Brimley diet there. So just sugar on and everything. It's and because apparently Jodie Foster was hanging out with a real teenage prostitute to get into character.
Holy shit! Really? Wow.
I think she was a teenager, but she was very young though. She was very young. In fact, the second time Travis Bickle bumps into Iris, she's with her friend, isn't she? And that friend was the real prostitute that helped Jodie Foster get into character with.
Jeez.
So all the sunglasses, the changing the sunglasses, all the sugar and syrup and the bread, that's all from her friend. And
a toast sandwich.
Apparently this is a very interesting story that Paul Schrader said. He found this because he actually did pay this teenage prostitute to come into a room with him, but not to have sex, just to say, right, I want you to introduce you to some more guys. We're going to be doing a film, and we need you to help this actress get into character for us. And she's in the movie as well, and that's how Jodie Foster ended up playing the part so well and so convincingly.
Wow.
Such a young age as well. Fucking hell.
It's crazy. Like, you see child actors these days, and it's nothing like this performance. I mean, there's some, there are some that stand out. You've got, Nick said, you've got like the young Chloe Moretz, and obviously you've got who was in Nikita? Help me out.
Oh, fuck.
Or was it Leon? Might have been Leon actually. I think it was Leon.
You mean Natalie Portman?
Natalie Portman.
That was it. She was very young. She was very young and very good, but
yeah.
Yeah, that might be one of their best fucking performances apart from Black Swan.
Yeah. That and Black Swan.
Yeah.
Even more in this scene, because they're breaking down like he's trying to get her out of this life, but she's like, why don't you call the cops? He goes, and even he's like, cops don't do anything, and just adding more to this level of New York City, where like, the cops, come on, you have 8 million people and like 10,000 cops. It's just they are stretched thin.
Yeah. There's a massive element of the system has failed to this film.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Oh no, and I like the fact that she's trying to steer the conversation away to something a little bit more polite, like the astrology, like cancers are the best lovers, because she's trying, because she's in total fucking denial about the life she lives. I mean, she's very impressionable, and she's obviously been won over by sport. He's indoctrinated her. He's made her feel loved, despite
it's the new normal for her, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it is probably the only. We don't know how long she's been doing it. I mean, it could be years, but it's the only normality she's known. She's probably not had a childhood.
Yeah,
We don't
Lord
know
Toxic,
anything about her.
you're right there. Yeah, Lord Toxic agrees as well. That's,
There you go.
very right there.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Lord Toxic, since you're there, could you establish, is Travis Bickle really an ex-vet, or is he kind of a poser who's a fantasist, I should say, who's kind of put on this image like he is an ex-vet and to hide his troubled past? I don't know. But we'll find out.
Think he was gun handling earlier in the film with the shooting range. Didn't seem like
yeah, because he was blinking a lot while he was shooting, and obviously, I don't think a vet would do that.
Not a Marine. I just got when I think of Marines, I just think of best of the best. You know, sort of discipline, military mindset. I just don't see it. I don't see him adopting that. I see him or falling back into that. I see him adopting a mask. He's pretending.
So yeah,
he's ex-Marine then. So,
wow, okay, cool.
I mean, it does sort of explain how he's a little bit resourceful, how he makes that contraption in his hand. For
as I say, MacGyver's that for sure.
Yeah, so obviously he probably was doing a little bit of psychological warfare on the Secret Service guy as well, like maybe cause a little bit of confusion, maybe, but and it's like on a Section 8 on the mental.
I suppose he saw some stuff out in Nam, you know. I mean, he comes back and he sees maybe elements of that in his homeland. That would tip a guy over the edge, wouldn't it?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
You come back from a war zone and you've just got a different perspective on things, and maybe he just sees some of that same rot and social degradation.
Yeah. Also, let's not forget a lot of these vets that came back spat on and called baby killers by all these fucking hippies that would not even know all the fucking trauma that war vets have gone through,
which is happening again.
Yeah, so what Wes just said, that's why I theorized too earlier. It's like, you know, Marine grunts would be specialized in rifles, not hand guns.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep,
okay.
that's what I thought Wes, because he's like, street pistols would be very new to him. But like you guys said too, this was a problem with the military. It's like World War II. Remember, soldiers, Americans were the fucking heroes, man. Vietnam, boy, man, freaking vets got shit on after Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam. It's a disgusting thing as well, because a lot of these men suffered really bad fucking trauma and everything, and that's the last thing they fucking needed.
Yeah.
So
I think in general, especially now,
at this point,
it's all coming round again. Even though there is no war that America is actively involved with, there are so many people who are anti-military and are sort of like having. It's like the whole "all cops are bastards" type things. They just see the military as a form of order and a form of structure, and they just hate it for no good reason. And as you say, these people are putting their lives on the line.
Yeah, we have it on now on TikTok. I see people saying, fuck the military, fuck the troops, or anti-America this, anti-America that. And this one girl was that one soccer player. She had a weed vape pen because it's America, no problem. She was overseas. She's arrested for like 2 years and crying like, "Well, I love America so much." And weren't you saying "fuck America" on your TikTok a few months back? Now you're arrested for a weed vape pen, crying because you're doing 2 years over in where fucking some Britain or some shit, whatever country she's in, but. You know, all these anti-American people, we're so fucking spoiled as a country, the laws that we can break over here that you don't do other countries.
There is a distinct lack of any national spirit. So, and it's not just America, but I feel like any country at the moment with the Generation Z and millennials and stuff like that, that whole pride of what your forebearers have achieved is just gone. It's just gone.
Fucking sad, yeah. Lord Toxic just said the only combat vets without PTSD were already
the ones that actually went out and enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, Lord Toxic, you're very fucking honest about it. At least you're honest about it.
Yeah, true.
My mate went out and he was blown up in Iraq. He lost his entire squad. They all died, and he survived with loads of shrapnel. And he came back a changed man. Absolutely fucking changed man. Just
I could not begin to understand fucking shit like that, man, because it sounds fucking brutal. I mean, you can really look that stuff up and what they go through, but to actually go through it, that takes a lot of fucking.
So he comes back, and when he has to go about ragheads and stuff like that, I'm like, you know, that dude's got a different perspective to what anybody else that I know has. He's been out there, he's been blown up by an IED, you know, and you know, stuff like that's going to change. That's the kind of life experience that kids these days and Gen Z are just never going to have. The most dramatic thing that they're ever going to have is somebody getting their name wrong on a fucking Starbucks cup. You know what I mean?
Or if the
Somebody
internet goes down, you can't get Wi-Fi and they'll have a meltdown.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that.
Send them all to war.
Yeah, did you see that meme where what Rishi fucking Sunak was supposed to be doing national service and the 20-year-olds are fucking hides for the army, but they're all fucking like whiny babies, and yeah, the guy says, like, you can't get a fucking 20-year-old out of bed at fucking 8 o'clock in the morning. How the fuck are you going to get him in the army?
Yep. And the thing is, all that happens is they'll go in there and they'll just claim they're being mentally abused because the drill sergeants are shouting at them or something like that. It's generation fucking pussy now. There's no backbone at all in anybody. And yeah, they should be shouted, they should be bullied, they should be made to be better. There's nothing wrong with aspiring to be better. Don't want any fucking participation trophies. Don't want any of that. Wash it. Be good.
Make
better.
bullying great again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's fucking hard for kids to get bullied. I mean, I used to get fucking shit at school as well. I mean, there were kids that had it fucking worse though, but but half the time you just got to fucking keep on it, and you got.
I was bullied at school. I was massively bullied at school, but I mean, it does build character. I mean, funny, it does. It does build character. There's no two ways about it. You know, I'm not going to say it was nice. It fucking wasn't nice. It was horrible. But at least I know I can deal with certain things, and I can, you know, I can take knockbacks and stuff like that in life without, you know, sort of my fucking world falling in because my Starbucks name's wrong.
Yeah, because life really does fucking hand your ass to you. It's I know it does. It does.
You are under no provision. The thing is, everybody these days thinks the world owes them everything, and the world owes you fucking nothing. You have to work, you have to strive, you have to develop and evolve and grow, and you know nobody wants to do that these days.
They want everything handed to them on a plate.
Everything handed to them. TikTok is a fucking disaster. TikTok is the best known, best named platform because it's a countdown. Yeah, and it's counting down to the actual destruction of generations.
People's attention spans as well. Like they can't watch a video.
They can't consume anything longer than 5 minutes.
I know, they can't watch a video for a minute.
I mean, to be fair, we can't talk about this film for more than 5 minutes, thanks to me being on this stream. But that's my point.
We're on a bit of a fucking.
We're coming up to the scene, at least on my watch.
This really, really awkward scene here at
and obviously I think this is all in Travis's head. This is like how he envisions sport is manipulating Iris as well.
Maybe. Oh.
Yeah, okay, because I didn't look at it from that perspective. I looked at it from her going back to the only life she's known and seeking comfort in it.
That's right, baby.
Because it is one of the few scenes where Travis Bickle isn't really in the scene as well. It's no, because even when you get shots of the other people during the Palatine rally, Travis Bickle is still there. There.
Yes. Yeah, true. Yeah.
And this time Travis Bickle's not in the room or anything. So yeah, how does he know this is happening? It's it could be in his head.
Yeah, say the film's from his perspective.
Yeah. And obviously the plan's coming forward now, and this is where things are really going to start getting real. His moment of fucking glory is coming now, and
he's got used to the pistol, that's for sure.
He's getting he's a pretty decent shot now, isn't he?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. So Toxic has actually sort of like clarified something a bit more. Like he's getting used to these guns now.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because I think some guns are handled a bit differently. Like he's always like Toxic has always favoured the Beretta more than the other pistols, and we've had Mr. E come on and say he prefers the Browning 1911. So yeah, it's probably different ways for different guns for that suits different people.
So I suppose with what Lord Toxic has said, that actually casts a completely different perspective on the latter half of the film, and he is turning back into the soldier that he actually was. He's not putting on a persona as I thought he was. He's not putting on a mask. He's reverting back to the warrior, the weapon that that he was.
I do like him shining his boots too, shining his boots up and just burning the wax and
the discipline and everything.
Yeah, you see him burning the flowers too.
Stream without Nick's roasting the fucking.
To be fair, if I'm on the stream in the future, if bastards get fed up with me, then, that was the one and only time that Critical is going to be on the stream. If I'm back, then you just get used to me diverging all over the fucking place.
But it's almost like symbology, where how he's burning all the roses, all the flowers, because he's like saying goodbye to that old life. Because he's burning that stuff and he's getting the knife off nice and sharp.
He's giving nice vibes as well, even though he's probably going to get fucking wasted on some bullshit. But
it says in the letter that he's by the time you read this, I will be dead. I didn't catch that the first time I watched it.
I know.
So he's preparing
because that explains.
He's looking back a lot more of the drugs at this point as well, and they look like prescription drugs as well.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know, but I mean, that little orange bottle, I guess that means they're prescription.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's hard to tell because being it's New York, you can probably get the shit anywhere from a street vendor.
Right, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I know. Plus, it does explain the Mohawk as well, because that is a Vietnam thing. I think it was like originally from the Mohawks when they would go into battle knowing they weren't going to come out alive, and this is his battle where this is his suicide. This is his battle to the death. In a way.
Yeah, well, I mean, he didn't die out in Vietnam, so maybe he feels that he can come back to his homeland and be that catalyst for change and a sacrifice and a martyr.
Yeah, well, do you think there could be a little hints of survivor's guilt there as well?
Potentially. As I say, what Lord Toxic has said has just completely thrown my perspective of especially the back half of the film into a completely different place. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, because I mean, even if he was a fantasist claiming to be military, I mean, the jacket could be stolen valor or something like that. But
yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but it doesn't seem to be that way now. And this is his chance to go down a hero, die like a hero.
Mm-hmm. And he sees Betsy with what's his name? You know, his rival, his previous rival.
Now, do you guys know what's the actual theory? Like, why does he pick this? If anybody he can go on a murdering spree for, why Palantine? I mean, they had a pretty good exchange inside a taxi cab, but like he hasn't wronged him directly. Like, what's the reason he wants to kill this guy for?
I think it's to do with Betsy. I think it's something to do with Betsy to prove to her.
It's something that means something to her as well. And it's almost like his revenge as well.
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
Plus, I don't think he believes in Palantine's policy. Well, not that
he doesn't believe they're working, does he? He
doesn't think it's fulfilled.
Has failed.
Yeah,
and plus, it's like he said at the meeting. I don't believe someone should devote his life to morbid self-attention, but he is kind of going down that route as well. Like he is doing something that is going to give him a lot of attention, and it sort of like explains a little bit more what a contradictory guy he is, and he is a bit of a hypocrite as well, isn't he?
He's pretty much becoming what he loathes most. He's becoming sort of part of the problem. He's part of the crime.
Well, I would imagine that with him adopting the military mindset once again, he's probably become quite fatalistic because, again, I'm not militarily learned in any way, but I would think that if you are in a war zone, if you are in the military, if you are in the army, then you would have the knowledge that you could die at any point. So you have to have that fatalism about you. And maybe that's coming back to him now as he reasserts the sort of military warrior side of his personality.
Yeah, and he's kind of fucked it up as well, hasn't he? He had his chance to get some kind of revenge there, and he's messed it up. So but
he starts taking it out on other people big time. So,
but now he sees. Okay, remembers Iris. he's done the Mohawk. He has to go down in battle some way or another. So why not save this little girl while doing it? You know, it's like
I guess,
like
I mean, and this is the point where I realised it was Harvey Keitel, because here he really does look like Harvey Keitel. Whereas before, when he had just the vest on and everything, he didn't. But for some reason, the bandana did it. What can I say?
Yeah. But it was interesting how he chickened out, though. In some ways, he chickened out for the senator, but then now he's determined. It's weird.
Well, maybe he realised that the senator is still a chance to make change. Whereas if he can go and change things at a street level, that's what he can do. So rather than being that big grand martyr in that scene, where he could shoot the senator, maybe he decides to just go and make, the street level change. And certainly it shows Iris a part of that life that she'd not been. You can tell from her reaction at the end of the film, she'd not been exposed to that before. She has seen this prostitution as the new normal, and when people start dying around her, I think it brings a realism to affairs that she just isn't ready for.
Yeah, that's a good point, that as well. And she's not very happy about. And to be honest, I thought she wasn't happy about them dying because, she probably was upset that he killed them, upset because, they were like her family in a way, even though they were pretty fucked up people, making her do these horrible things and using her.
Yeah, well, I guess she's losing the only life she's known at that point. And this destructive force has come in, well, albeit through maybe good intentions, and just been this crazy sort of whirlwind of death. And now she's left there, and maybe she was just, as you say, so desensitized that she was lying to herself about everything and just being like, this is okay.
It's something different from her normal life as well, wasn't it? And it probably made her feel a little bit special, like all the other girls don't do this, but I do. Now the glamour is starting to wear off. She's starting to see that there are consequences to the life that she's in.
Yeah, exactly. She's been exposed to the realism of the situation.
I know, and this is the scene that really caused a lot of controversy, and it almost drove Martin Scorsese to the edge a little bit. Where's that clip? Let's get it up. It's a very, very fucked up story, but this kind of reflects Martin Scorsese at the time, because I know he had a very bad coke habit, and this was insane.
There is an interesting history behind Taxi Driver. Scorsese had made Taxi Driver. He made the film for Columbia, and the MPAA slapped it with an X. And so Scorsese was now going to have to be faced with making a masterpiece and having to slash his canvas. The people at Columbia, who I don't have a clue who it is, was unsympathetic. They didn't care. They were just get enough. We don't care how you do it, just do it. Scorsese stayed up all night drinking with a loaded gun. And his purpose was, in the morning, he was going to shoot the executive at Columbia for making him cut his masterpiece. Well, apparently what ended up happening was just to desaturate the color in the final shootout by 2 degrees, turning what was candy apple blood red into a more burgundy blood. And the film got its R.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah, Scorsese was a wild man back in the day, though.
Just changing the shade, the saturation by two points.
Censorship is retarded. We talk about it all the time on TV. It's like you can't say certain words anymore, but I can watch a 12-year-old decapitate a grown man, or rip out his guts, and that's fine. But you say a certain word, no, that's not allowed. Like, okay,
yeah, it's crazy.
I know, and it is very fucking violent. A man's hand gets blown off, everything.
It's graphic.
Yeah, and you got special effects. Special effects. Forgot the fucking title now, but he works in special effects, and his name is Dick Smith, and he was responsible for some of the putting fake pieces of skin on the neck and pulling it off with the rod, so the fake blood would start running down, and it does a very good job as well. And I think it was safer than squibs back in the day as well, and because it was on skin as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, he didn't take care of fucking sport enough. He just shot him in the gut and left,
Yeah.
and then
Well, it's funny how he gets shot in the arm and he's down. His hand, his little device hand thing saves his life because it's instant. He just shoots the guy repeatedly.
Because it pays off as well, because it has been set up earlier as well, and yeah, you see him making that contraption, and you're like, yeah, somewhere down later on in the film, he's going to use that contraption. It's Chekhov's gun, isn't it? Chekhov's gun.
It wasn't Tom Savini, was it, that did the effects for this?
No, Dick Smith.
Oh, it was Dick Smith. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think they were going to have like Stan Winston, but I
Yeah.
think he was unavailable at the time. So,
All right.
but Dick Smith did a very good job. No, Dick Smith was supposed to be doing Terminator, but he was unavailable, so they got Stan Winston.
Okay.
Well,
that's not exactly a downgrade. So
yeah.
Let's not forget Stan Winston was responsible, partly at least, for fixing the Predator.
Yeah, no, fucking hell, man. This is he is almost android robotic like as well in this film as well, because he barely reacts when he gets shot. He just sort of walks it off, even though he's badly wounded and he's bleeding out. Yeah, this is a very good effect shot as well. They put like loads of rods around his face, just pulled it off and had the blood run down, and and yeah, his brain, his head doesn't fucking explode because it's a tiny little gun. It's not gonna fucking do that much damage, but shoot him in the face a few times, that'll fuck you up. And yeah, it comes to the scene where he kills the final pimp, and and he tries to kill himself now. It's like he's done what he's had to do. He saved this little girl from her captors, and just as a final humiliation, the fucking gun's empty. He can't do it. All he can do is sit there and bleed.
Yeah. So he just goes like this. He just does the motion with his fingers.
Yeah, another absolutely iconic scene.
Yeah,
but he
gets shot,
dying,
isn't it?
I know. And it's almost very dreamlike as well. It's almost, I think it was like trying to mislead us into thinking he's dying. And
no, it's really weird kind of shot. Almost reflects the start of the film with the very, very slow nature of the start of the film as well. The opening credits, as it were. And then obviously we get the aftermath in what would probably be these days a post-credit sting.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe,
and, it's just only really a few, and he has actually kind of got the fame that he's he's down wanted, hasn't he?
I mean, at the end of the day, it is, in the weirdest way, a story of redemption. You know, he has
at the same time,
highlighted the rot. Yeah. He is a hero.
He is a hero, but that's the thing. They're celebrating a guy that tried to kill the fucking president. It's
But it's well, I mean, is he the president or is he a senator?
Well, senator,
anyway,
but presidential candidate.
Yeah. But again, I mean, it's does the method matter if the result that is achieved is favorable?
Now, did you guys see that? I was watching YouTube videos this morning. Some people theorize that Travis died, and this is in his mind, him becoming a hero. Her parents thanking him. This is what he wanted, but
like
he
his
died.
He's become a bit more delirious in his final moments.
Which I
guess,
it's a cool concept. Yeah,
it's a cool theory. I still want to believe
it. I don't totally disagree with that, to be honest. But I think Paul Schrader actually confirmed this as well. Like, it kind of goes back to a woman who I think she shot Gerald Ford as well, and then after that she was in like magazines being interviewed, and she was being celebrated for doing a pretty fucking disgraceful act. And I think the same applies to Travis Bickle a little bit here, but because he's not really, he's a mentally ill guy who desperately needs fucking help. He needs some serious help here as well, and he's kind of being validated for without it. He's being validated for the wrong reasons in a way, but then again, saving a girl from a prostitute is a good thing, but at the end of the day, Travis Bickle is a dangerous guy, and one more wrong day, he's going to fucking snap again, and he might not be so lucky.
Well, it's the anti-hero, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the everyday man who, like Lord Toxic said, when He said something about action. Let me scroll
Yeah.
up. It was very profound, I'm sure of it.
What's it? I'm reading now. So Scorsese said, like, it's not Travis is a disturbed individual. He's like, he lives in a disturbing society. Like, damn, it's pretty deep.
I know.
Yeah, it's like he's being corrupted, like almost by virus. Do you know what I mean? He's trying to clean himself of it. Because it's when a man of action loses all his beliefs, all he believes in is action.
Oh yeah, like I said, you can look at it in so many ways as well, and
fucking hell.
And he seems like he has become a little bit more like he has got what he needs out of his system, but it's like I said, he could, yeah.
In the final scenes, he is still driving past all these porno shops.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah,
his perception of things has changed.
And he's going to get triggered again. Is that psychosis is going to come back? And yeah, Hinckley. Yeah, there was John Hinckley, because he got obsessed by Jodie Foster in this film and tried to kill Ronald Reagan, didn't he?
Yeah,
that's a strange connection. Hang on, what? Jodie Foster,
the film
Ronald
was
Reagan.
The film was kind of blamed for the attempt on Reagan's life.
Oh wow! Okay.
One of those kind of you watch that
movie, controversy and the legacy of the film.
Yeah.
No, but I never. Obviously, a guy had watched it way too many times and read too much into it. But John Hinckley was a fucking nutcase. He was. How many people actually saw this film and didn't fucking try to assassinate a politician?
Well, was it? Who was it who had a shrine to Darth Vader? One of the serial killers. I don't think it was Dharma. But one of them had a shrine to Darth Vader.
I know. And then he had one shoot up a fucking cinema and call himself the Joker. It's
yeah.
These people are mentally ill.
It's very interesting, actually. I was just looking at the opening credits. I've gone back to them, and the opening credits, it's rain, everything's distorted. In the end credits, there's no rain and everything is absolutely clear.
Yeah, there are hints that.
Am I reading too much into it? Maybe, but you know.
Well, there's a lot to read into it. This because that's how Martin Scorsese has intended to it. But he has also confirmed that Travis Bickle could come back, could start to go fucking nuts again.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll get through this little interaction with him and Betsy again because we don't know if it's in his how he's envisioning. He's sort of like dreaming this, or daydreaming, or she actually is impressed by what is by his act of heroism.
Yeah. And his nonchalance around it all, but it's the thing with the unreliable narrator, and I think that can make films so much more interesting.
I know. I mean, even though we do see it exit the cab, it could still be his delusion, and when he says the paper's below this out of proportion, does he mean it, or is he just trying to be humble and deep down he's like...
Can we see his neck? I can't believe there wouldn't be a scar.
No. Let's have a look, see if there's a scar, because I might have not noticed that.
Let's see. Okay.
We'll have to go back a little bit.
He's got collar up, hasn't he? No, I can't see a scar, in all honesty.
Yeah, we'll go back a little few frames where we're talking with the other taxi drivers, because that might actually be able to see it. There it is.
Oh yeah, there it is. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so he probably has recovered, and he's still
he's probably survived.
Yeah. But he has actually got his fame now, and it's kind of just gone now. He's back to his normal everyday thing.
He doesn't look as unhealthy. He doesn't look sort of dreadful as he did earlier.
No, he doesn't. He looks like you say, healthy. He looks adjusted, sane.
That's because his blood was satisfied.
Doing better, but there's always that chance he could fall on hard times again and revert back to that state that he was in before.
Sequel.
Yeah, that's it. Modern audience sequel. I think, Christ, not with Robert De Niro in the way he is at the moment. Fucking hell, can you imagine?
Oh yeah, man, he's acting more nuts. He makes Travis Bickle look fucking insane now.
Yeah, he does. He's gone. I think the thing is, I like to think that in this aftermath, the thing that really matters to him, and the thing that maybe has healed him more than anything else, more than being considered to be a hero, is the fact that he did save Iris. He's got those letters from her parents saying, you know, thank you so much. Come visit us. You made a difference. And maybe that's all he needed, just to save one person.
I know. For now, but
for now,
it's even established that at the end, you know, right before he turns the rear view mirror, you hear that little noise going. Doo! Then he looks at the rear view mirror and it stops, and that is hinting that he is still fucked in the head. He may be better now, but he's going to go back to. He's going to return to that fucking military robotic state he was before, and next time he might not be so lucky. He might actually end up doing something drastic.
Well, even the most sane person's only going to survive in an insane environment for so long without being changed.
Glad somebody has a shrine to you, buddy.
Sorry?
What was that? Look at Toxic's comment. He's got his shrine. He's probably not joking either.
Yeah, I think I've got you on next week, Lord Toxic. You still up for Get Shorty, aren't you?
I'm going to have to look at that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the end of the movie. And fucking hell, it's.
They don't make them like that anymore.
I know. I mean, there's so many layers. There's just so many different things to pick apart from.
In some ways, the closest sequel we got was Joker, if you think about it.
In a way, yeah.
Yes,
like an unofficial job. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it had to be called Joker. It could have been. I mean, the idea for the story is good enough. It didn't have to be Joker. It could have been just another film about a guy who's been shot on by the world, and now he becomes this total.
Yeah, that's definitely a video I want to make at some point with a panel. Like, you know, I've talked to Gord King and you guys about it. Where, you know, I think Joker is a good movie, but I don't think it's a good Joker movie because, like you said, it's not
a psychological drama.
Yeah,
it's not even really the Joker in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. It's because when I think Joker, I think Jack Nicholson, I think Mark Hamill, I think even Heath Ledger. Like I said, Joker is a fine film, but it's basically a taxi driver falling down, the man who laughs, just alternative. There's very little. It's like, you know, it's very little Joker, and it's just it's more. It's like the Joker shouldn't be a victim.
Yeah, it's a fascinating sociological study of a man who is just constantly beaten down by life in the same way as you say, like something like falling down, and from that perspective, it's great. And what was it? Joaquin Phoenix's performance in it is brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
but
you
can't see Batman in that universe.
No way.
Batman does not exist in that universe, and therefore it's not the Joker for me.
So what is the point? Because that's my issue with it. It's so ambiguous. It's like, well, it's the Joker, but it's not the Joker. But Batman's somewhere, but he's nowhere. It's like, well, just make your mind up.
Yeah.
It's either one.
I mean, you've got. I think in the film, you have got Bruce Wayne mentioned, haven't you? Because he goes to Bruce.
Yeah, and that felt so cheap. That felt tacked on. Like that shouldn't have been.
The old
I just don't see the Batman existing in that universe.
Yeah. No, that's the point. It's like you watch a film like Taxi Driver, you know, in real life, you wonder why, especially in America, why this doesn't happen more often. But in some ways, Travis as a character, you do feel like he's a victim and he's a product of his environment. You can relate to Travis. Michael Douglas and Falling Down, you can relate to him. The point of the Joker is the guy's a fucking maniac. This guy will burn down an orphanage. He will blow up a hospital. The Joker, you shouldn't feel sympathetic to him. The guy, in the Dark Knight, he's an agent of chaos that just wants the world to burn.
Yeah, he doesn't need this. Joker shouldn't have an origin either, to be honest. That's
yeah, and even when you watch the film, you think about it, the only people he kills are the people that, in his mind, slighted him. You know, it's like he kills Robert De Niro's character. He kills the guys on the subway who are bullying him. But the Joker in most cartoons and comics is just a fucking maniac who wants everyone to die because he's sick. And that's why it's like, you know, versus Taxi Driver.
Yeah, he wants people to die if he thinks it'll get a good laugh out of him.
Yeah.
Well, he's the yin to Batman's yang, isn't he? And as you say, with the film The Joker, it feels like a man who has seen the Joker and adopted that personality or that persona, rather than the actual Joker, because it's just not.
I know, and the thing it's still well made. I mean, I'll give
it's a very well made
credit, though. I mean, this is the guy who did Old School, isn't it? Yeah. This is the guy who did Old School and fucking Road Trip. Yeah, and now he does this really good,
it's a great movie. I mean, who thought it'd be good? Who thought it'd be good when they announced it?
It's still to this day the highest R-rated film of all time.
Yeah.
But
It's a great movie, but it's not the
yeah.
Joker. Sorry.
But
No,
that's the
exactly.
point. Well, this is why Todd Phillips, but he said himself, he goes, guys,
That's a
I'm
Todd
done with,
Phillips.
he's like, I'm done with comedies. He's like, this is why I'm done directing comedies, because Hollywood has become too woke. That came right out of Todd Phillips. He goes, I can't make comedies anymore, so I'm done with comedies. And like the
You
fact
Can you
never
that,
know
imagine what the
other
new
things.
Naked Gun's going to be like with Liam Neeson?
yeah, I like Liam Neeson
Fucking
too.
hell. You
Yeah,
can't make
I
that
like
film
it, but
now. You just can't
I don't
make
see it
it.
as hey, Julie, we'll be finishing soon. Sorry you came on late, but you can always catch
Hello.
the rewatch. And thank you for joining us.
That's my sister, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Julie. Nice to meet
How
you.
you doing, kiddo?
As for the Joker 2, oh man, I don't know. I like lightning in a bottle. I think I have faith in Todd Phillips, but I don't think you can capture that twice.
Yeah, and I'm very fucking skeptical. I am.
I do admit the second trailer I thought was a lot better than the first trailer. I want to be optimistic because I do like Joaquin. Lady Gaga has proven she can act, and it could be fun. I mean, I'm not sure, but I want to believe that hopefully it will be, I don't think it's going to do $1 billion, but I'm hoping it'll be pretty good because,
What do you think of the musical aspect to it, though? I'm not a big musical fan. I think I only like.
I do like it. Was it? Well, what's it? Sweeney Todd. I have a feeling it's going to be kind of like Sweeney Todd in a way.
Yeah, which I didn't necessarily mind Sweeney Todd. And I didn't even mind something like Moulin Rouge and the way it was done. But if it's just nothing but pop songs and fucking Taylor Swift and shit like that, then I'm just going to be like, no, this film's not going to work.
And to her credit, I do think Gaga, well, she has the talent to perform like this whole like 1980s opera kind of vibe. I don't think it's going to be like a pop movie because remember the first film takes place in the early 90s. That's the tone they gave.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to go that direction.
But I do kind of trust Todd Phillips, even though he came out saying Joker is bisexual or something. But I think he could be joking. I think because anyone who says or something at the end is probably having a fucking laugh. So
yeah, possibly. I mean, with something like the Joker, I just don't see sex really being a part of his makeup. Really. He's kind of got his mind on different things, master plans and craziness and insanity.
Yeah, I don't
exactly see him bending Harley over and giving her one doggy style. I just don't see it.
He seems like he's always like he treats Harley like she's a pet. It's like she's in love with him, but he doesn't like that's the whole toxic relationship. Joker does not love Harley, does not care about Harley. She's a fucking
she's infatuated with him. Exactly. Very much one way.
All she is she's just a play toy to him. And that's the whole dynamic, which is why people hate nowadays the whole turning Harley against Joker and no, it's a very toxic, shitty relationship. That's the point.
She's like an old-fashioned moll, isn't she?
It's what's it called? It's Stockholm syndrome, isn't it? Stockholm syndrome.
Well, Stockholm is that's kind of
like you fall in love with your abuser.
Yeah, well, usually that's kidnappers. If somebody kidnaps you,
yeah. So but I mean,
the Helsinki syndrome or something where
Helsinki, I don't know, one of the Scandinavian capitals.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Oslo. It's Oslo syndrome. Nick should be amazed at Rule 34 Joker. No, I did not.
Starts to fall in love with her with her patient as well, and I don't know some.
Yeah, because she's Harley in Quinzel. She's his psychiatrist, isn't she? And then he corrupts her over time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm Googling stuff now. I mean, it just every article on Google just says they're just considered, toxic, selfish, but nothing like Stockholm, because Stockholm wouldn't relate to, because like you said, she was a doctor and he's a patient, so that's not Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking of the way that he abuses her and she still loves him.
Yeah.
Unconditionally.
But she's broken at this point,
who've had boyfriends or
she's off lesing up with Poison Ivy these days. So,
what's that all about? Why are they doing that? It's stupid. I mean,
representation.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is we're going to get a film about it and it's going to be the least sexy thing ever. There's going to be no scantily clad ladies. There's going to be no cleavage. It's going to be all talking about how men are bastards and the patriarchy. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Because I think what's the name?
Fucking Harley Quinn TV show. I liked the first 3 episodes, but then it just you can really see the fucking identity politics just.
It's a feminist wet dream, mate. It's a feminist wet dream. The lady breaking free of the man's control, and that's why you got the whole bloody film, the emancipation of the fabulous Harley Quinn or whatever it was. It's complete bollocks.
The 10 fucking Chris, they take Commissioner Gordon into a fucking div. I mean, he's one of the most honest fucking honourable characters in that law, and they just fucking ruined him. They destroyed him. They did with the same with Harvey Dent, and they kind of do the same to Batman a little bit more as it goes on.
There's so much character assassination these days. I just don't know where to look. I really don't. Everything is about the deconstruction of these characters, and it's been done, and it's been done better than you know, by people better than you previously, and you're just making a hash of it. And
there will be Nix. Yes.
So I'm looking.
I know, because I mean, listen, these are our fucking heroes as well. We're familiar with these heroes, you know. I mean, a new interpretation.
And that's why they want to destroy them.
No.
That's
a new interpretation is fine, though, but don't destroy them. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
We should
do you think we'll see a Batman 2 with what's his face?
Yeah, it's being made. It's being made at the moment, isn't it?
Well, I guess it's actually been delayed again. It's actually
really.
It's come out yesterday. They delayed it again, so there's no official date yet. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I hope it's because the first one had had a lot of problems, but
no, I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was okay, but I didn't think it was.
What did you think?
It was better than what we've been subjected to previously for DC, but it wasn't great.
What did you think?
I think DC's in a lot of trouble. I really do. I don't think they're going down the right path at all. I think if you want to make DC work, you make a good Batman film and you make a good Superman film, and you go from there.
Start with the basics. What do you think, Pattinson? Pattinson as Batman. What did you think of him?
I didn't mind him as Batman. I didn't like him as Bruce Wayne.
He should improve as Bruce Wayne. No,
couldn't stand him as Bruce Wayne. He was an emo. He was a moody, brooding emo, and I was just like, I'd look at him and go, "That's Batman."
Yeah.
You know, the whole idea with Bruce Wayne is he comes off as this kind of caddish, foppish, silly billionaire, you know, and nobody.
It's an alter ego, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's an alter ego. It's like
exactly. I mean, you know, some would say that Bruce Wayne is the mask and Batman is the man, which is a fascinating psychological discussion on its own, which none of the films have adequately explored, in my opinion. But the Pattinson one was all right. I liked the suit. I thought it was okay. I kind of liked the boots. You know, sort of. It was very down to earth and realistic. But I couldn't stand his Bruce Wayne. I just couldn't stand it. I thought Serkis was okay as Alfred though.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
No, there was a lot that I did like. I mean, I kind of did like Colin Farrell as a Penguin, but
he was unrecognisable, wasn't he?
Yeah.
There's another example of making something with a character that should have Batman in. They're doing a Penguin TV show, but Batman's not in it. What is the fucking point? It's the same as making Joker without Batman. It's just the Boyle.
Do you remember that Gotham TV show?
That was the other one I was trying to think of. What was that all about?
I watched the first episode.
Yeah.
And as soon as I think it got to the stage where it's like Catwoman was sitting by some stairs as a little girl when Bruce's family got murdered. And I was like, no, fuck this. I'm not watching this because I know all it's going to be is retroactively inserting all of these heroes, all of these villains into Bruce's life before he's Batman. I was like, no, that's just fucking lazy. Don't do that.
I'd give it another go. It's actually not that bad. I was very skeptical on it as well, but it does start to go down a little bit when in the third series as well. And you're seeing Catwoman, a 14-year-old girl, taking on like these fucking venom
accommodating stuntmen.
Yeah. But the kid who plays a really young Bruce Wayne and how he develops into this vigilante with the help of Alfred, and I kind of didn't mind that, and I like Commissioner Gordon in it as well, and the Penguin and the Riddler are actually very fucking fun to watching it though.
I did watch all of One Punch Man, season 1 and season 2.
Yeah, season 1 is great. Season 2 is fucking dog shit. I really hope season 3 is good.
I forgot about
that. It's fun. That's all I can really give it. It's fun.
Well, have any of you seen?
It's smarter as well. The first series, it's smarter than you think it is. It's the fact that he's so overpowered that he destroys
his character,
and it's bored, and he's bored to death of it as well. He wants.
He's having an existential crisis.
Yeah,
you know, life's so meaningless to him because he knows he can just walk up to anybody and just hit them. Like Nick says, season 2 is just filler. I kind of like the character that was pretending to be a hero, but yeah, season 2 is just filler.
He's barely in the fucking show. It's his show, and he's just faffing about with this Genos guy on video games, and just shows up a couple of times and that's it.
Yeah,
And
you've just got this tournament thing going on, haven't you?
Yeah.
And it's still a bit weird.
Yeah, Luke, I was looking up some stats for you in terms of like ratings. Let's see. So Taxi Driver, Rotten Tomatoes, you got 90% critics, 93% audience score.
That's pretty good.
Let's see.
Actually, got one right.
Yeah, IMDb gave let's see, users basically a 8.2 out of 10. Okay. See, the budget on this film was let's see. Well, the box office was 28 million, but the budget was only 2 million, and it got 30 million. So they made 15 times back their budget.
Wow.
And especially for 1976, I mean, 30 million for a film that's R-rated, should have been X-rated, is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Take notice, Disney. That's how you do things.
And
Disney's a lost cause. Disney is a lost cause.
In terms of a sequel,
they're fucking what,
they did ask they asked Paul Schrader, the screenwriter, about a Taxi Driver sequel. He said, "quote It's the dumbest idea I've ever fucking heard."
Yeah,
Good lad.
the closest thing to a Taxi Driver sequel was Bringing Out the Dead with Nicolas Cage, and only this time it's about a paramedic, and it's really fucking underrated in my opinion.
Never seen it. Is it good?
Have you not seen Bringing Out the Dead with Nicolas Cage?
No.
It's Martin Scorsese and Paul Schrader writing it as well.
Oh, I'm going
away.
then. I'm there.
Yeah.
How old is it?
It came out in the 90s.
It's like
yeah,
I've heard of it. It was like early 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not as good as Taxi Driver. I think Taxi Driver is a bit more smarter and has a lot more layers to it, but it is still very funny, and it's very darkly funny, and Nicolas Cage is really good on it. You got Tom Sizemore on there, Rames, John Goodman, fucking Patricia Arquette back when she was sexy. It's
that's getting downloaded tonight. I'm watching that. Yeah. Sounds good.
Can I make a recommendation? You might have seen it. It's just while we were on the subject of Pattinson, Robert Pattinson. There's a film. There's a friend of mine told me about it. I'd never heard of it. It's called The Rover. It's got Guy Pearce. Has any of you heard of it?
No, I'll check it out though.
Mate, honestly,
I feel like Robert Pattinson as an actor is a good time. Good time.
He's a good actor. He's a good actor.
In that's what turned me on to him as an actor. I thought, wow. You'll see why if you watch the movie. It's called The Rover. It's got Guy Pearce. It's set in kind of a almost post-apocalyptic near future setting in Australia, and it's basically some bandits or like bank robbers that steal his car, and he goes to try and get it back, and that's the premise of the movie. But the way
sounds more like a Mad Max than Furiosa, to be honest.
It kind of, sort of is in it. Honestly, mate, you need to check it out.
Yeah, I like these films where fucking everything's gone to shit, and especially in these like more like wasteland kind of things.
Yeah,
nothing like a bit of post-apocalyptic dystopia, is there?
Yeah, I love. I don't know why. I just love the fucking bleakness.
It's because then you can look out the window and go, well, "It's not quite that bad."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, all I have to do is just look out my front window, and that's it. That's
you need to come around where I live. In the proper north.
I am looking up back in 2010. It hasn't happened, but 2010 actually, De Niro and Scorsese said they want to make a Taxi Driver too. But it never happened. But even then, because De Niro said he wanted to see what Travis would be like after all these years, which maybe in 2010 it could have been interesting, I guess. But they never.
Yeah, 2010 would have been probably the last.
Yeah, now it's just
get away with making that film.
Yeah,
anything after 2016, it's all over.
I mean, I do think the character 20 years later, maybe you could do something with that. But yeah, I mean, now it's way too fucking long. But yeah.
I don't think it needs to be explored in the slightest. I think you could, if you want to approach this again with modern sensibilities and not modern audience, but just modern sensibilities, because times have changed, attitudes have changed to society. I think just do it with a new actor. Pick somebody who can actually fucking act and not a diversity hire.
Yeah, I mean, you could do stuff like, because as we talked about, certain themes are the same. Obviously, there's still corruption in New York City. Homelessness is actually higher now than it was before. The city's fucking falling apart. Rats, disease. I mean, now just instead of taxis, you have Ubers. But like a lot of the themes in this film, instead of Vietnam vet, you could have an Iraqi vet. I mean, still things could still be done nowadays if done right. But like you said, Al, the problem is like, boy, it's like maybe you couldn't cast him as a white guy. He'd have to be like a trans black dude or something, and he'd be a victim, and it would just all this political messaging would just be peppered into this shit. Maybe he'd be assassinating Trump, probably. It's like instead of.
I mean, he'd be an incel. He'd be an incel out. Like they made Riddler an incel in Batman. rather than him being an intelligent person who could challenge Batman through riddles and all that kind of thing. No, he was just kind of some kind of streamer who's trying to get following. Fuck off. I've got no time for it. I've got no time. I've got all the time in the world for smart, intelligent social commentary. I've got no time in the world for activists hijacking media entertainment and using it to project their own.
Oh yeah, I can
You
see,
know, you can do it
especially
subtly.
in New York.
That
I
can
can see
stand up against our heroes. That's why Heath Ledger was such a great fucking Joker, even though he wasn't physically capable of taking on Batman properly. He could outwit him, and he was tactical. He was very good at strategizing, and
well, he was something that Batman wasn't prepared for. You know, he didn't play to the rules.
Yeah, because he just saw him as another fucking crazy criminal, and that was it. But it turns out, no, he's a really fucking clever crazy criminal.
And what the Joker was trying to do was corrupt the symbol of Gotham's light.
Yeah,
Harvey Dent.
Because he was so corrupted.
Brilliantly.
He was so corrupted himself that anyone could do it. He wants to prove that anyone could be just as deep and fucking filthy and ugly as he is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he wanted to bring them down to his level.
Yeah, I think Jordan Peterson made a good assessment on this. Like, he doesn't want to win. He wants everybody to lose.
Yeah. He just, like Michael Caine said, some men just want to see the world burn.
Yeah, some men aren't looking for anything logical like money. They just want to see the world burn.
Far too self-conscious to try accents, unfortunately.
But
no, I love the Dark Knight. I think again, there's quite a lot being said in that film.
Yeah.
You know, for whatever else you say, with a lot of films, I think
films
as an entertainment should be more than their sum of the parts.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like these films back then. You know, you could say that there's some social commentary, political commentary, but it's like, I guess it's like it's more subtle. And like this film, it does have a commentary about you know, I don't know, human nature and about society, but it's not beaten over the head the way it is nowadays.
You can do it subtly. You can do it subtly. Watching The Acolyte is like having a brick with all Jedi are bastards, smash the patriarchy, smashed in your head 20 times. That's what watching The Acolyte is like, because there's no subtlety, there's no craft, there's no intelligence to the storytelling, there's nothing. It's all agenda all the time, in your face. And
I watched about 5 minutes of episode 1, and now I have eye cancer.
Oh boy!
I managed the first 2 episodes, and I was off. I was like, "Yeah, I'm just going to watch reviews."
Fucking horrible.
That's why I like The Highwayman that I saw the other day. 2019, and I was just like, "Wow, no message." There's like 2 women in it, and one of them's fucking Bonnie Parker from Bonnie and Clyde. The other one's a governor of some description, played by Kathy Burke. Sorry, Kathy Bates, not Kathy Burke. That'd be a very different film.
Kathy Bates. Smoking a fag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want a brown baby. And it was like it was like 1934, but there was no historical revision. Like, you go down to Nottingham Castle. I live a stone's throw from Nottingham Castle. You go down to Nottingham Castle. This is the birthplace or whatever of Robin Hood. You go down there. You go down to the Robin Hood exhibit. They've got a kind of projected tapestry of medieval England, and it looks like modern day London. It looks like modern day London, and I'm like, fuck off that shit.
Tons of black people and
that's what I'm talking about. Exactly. You get these films, and it's like, here's Victorian London, and here's loads of diversity. And I'm like, look, I don't mind if you do that in new films because it's expected, fair enough. But stop revising history. Stop trying to fucking change the past, please, because you're doing my head in. And I've seen pictures from the 1980s, and there's no fucking black people in them. I don't even remember there being a black kid in my school. And I was in school in 93, 94.
We really had black kids in my school as well back in the 90s. Now we're seeing tons as well. And even though they were born in England, they barely speak English.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one thing aside from it. I mean, societies change. Due to immigration, we've got a much more diverse multiculturalism, which is, in my opinion, is a complete failure. We've got a much more diverse population than we used to. That's neither here nor there. But what I don't want to see people doing is making a film that's set in 1940 or whatever, and then you've got the diversity of modern day, because it just doesn't fucking work. And straight away, I'm not going to be able to get invested in your film.
It's
Yeah,
quite
and
jarring.
that puts people off, and they still keep fucking doing it. It's like,
And they still keep fucking doing it. You're right. And
you don't mind fucking people of different colours being in films or acting or getting work. It's just it depends on context.
The thing is, also on top of that, like I said in my Highwayman review, plug, you've now got to the stage where you can tell pretty much what is going to happen to a person based upon both their skin color and their sexuality. For example, you cannot portray a black man as aggressive or
I know, he has
nasty
to be a
or
fucking
evil or
dweeb
doing
or
anything
sort of like,
reprehensible, even if you see them in something. So, for example, with the Furiosa film, there was a black dude in Dementis' gang, but you never saw him do anything bad. He didn't do anything reprehensible because you can't do it. And in the same way, if you watch any given film now, the white straight dude is always going to be the bad guy. It's always going to be the bad guy. And it's boring. It's boring because it's destroying narrative creativity at the cost of diversity and inclusion, which is, diversity and inclusion, that's one thing. Having diverse people, giving people a chance of different races and different colors to be in things, that's fine, but earn it. Don't just get put in there because you've been cast as a director because you fit a fucking profile and you've only directed one film in your entire life and you end up turning out some absolute pile of shit. Because you're not furthering your cause.
Yeah.
Anybody heard of Hercules, the Greek, whatever he was?
Yeah, they're trying to get Michael B. Jordan in that role, and for fuck's sake, it's great.
I think that is a troll. I think that is a fake, because when I look on IMDb, I can't find anything about it on Google. It's like the whole thing about Kathleen Kennedy getting rid of the words light side and dark side because she thinks they're offensive. I think that's also a fake troll article. And people need to be careful, because being reactionary on that then gives the left ammunition against us. I say against us, I consider myself to be very central, but you have to be careful how you react to things and not
toxic, man.
Yeah.
Get the bait.
Like the old Pakistani. Yeah, we're getting. It's not Pakistan.
Not anymore. It was.
God knows.
Yeah, not anymore. I mean, I think it's a lot of Somalian and what was the other one? Libyan. A lot of Libyan at the moment coming over in boats.
I don't even know where half of them are coming from now. We've got Eastern Europeans and everything, and
not a clue. It's a complete hot pot. It really is, and
a lot of them have got criminal records as well. They are coming illegally. They're all fucking being snuck on these fucking boats, and we know where they're all coming from. We all know where they're coming from, and nothing is being done about it.
No, nothing's being done.
No.
But you can't say anything, because the second you do, you're labelled racist. Even if you have the most levelled perspective on the planet, the second you say something wrong, say something against the demographic, you are considered a phobe or an ist.
Yeah, and they're all been landing on Dover, and guess what they've been doing? They go straight into the towns of Dover and been trying to fucking kick people out of their own homes, threatening them, everything.
Yeah, don't surprise me, because you're importing a mass load of people who do not share the cultural values of the place that they're going to.
Yeah,
that's why you've got something like the rape gang in fucking Rochford that was grooming all those girls, because to them, they don't have the same attitude or consideration towards women that somebody else would.
Yeah,
it's like when I look at things like sort of the Muslim faith, it just seems so way behind the times in its treatment of women or anything like that. And maybe they'll get there eventually, but in the meantime, you've got that coming over here wholesale, clashing with the advanced sensibilities of the host nation. It's very weird, very, very weird.
It is. But I think we're going down the rabbit hole a little bit, and that's
me all over. you can edit that bit out, no problem.
And we're coming up to 3 hours now. Anyway,
probably kill 3 hours exactly is a good stopping point.
Yeah, so we're coming up to the end of the show now, and
all right, buddy.
So I'll go with each of you individually. So, Critical, final thoughts on Taxi Driver, and what are you promoting, and what have you got upcoming next?
Taxi Driver, massive pile of shit. I want it remade, and I want it remade by Taika Waititi, please. Taika Waititi needs to take care of it. I think he'll give credit to the character. No, Taxi Driver is an absolute masterpiece. It is a film that you will think about long after you finish watching it, and it's the kind of film that gets discussed in film study sessions, psychology sessions. There is so much to unwrap, and it is a work of art as opposed to just a piece of disposable celluloid. As opposed to what I'm working on at the moment, I will review any film that I think is worth it or so bad that it's worth lambasting. But my next piece will be on the death of cinema now that I've finally recovered from fucking Rona or whatever it is. So I'll be talking about changes in audience behavior, changes in film, all that kind of thing. So if you want to hear me pliver on about that for 20 minutes or so, that'll be coming up soon.
Yeah, I'll try and check it out once you get it uploaded. So yeah, thanks for that critical out.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'll come back anytime you want me to watch some movies with you guys.
Yeah, well, and Fan Dad, final thoughts on Taxi Driver, and what have you got anything coming up next?
Taxi Driver, yeah. Taxi Driver is definitely a film that people have heard of and watched. But yeah, no, when I first watched it, I just thought, what is all the fuss about? Didn't really sort of get that deep into it. I watched it again, made a few notes, had a good think, read a few articles, and I think, like we've done tonight for 3 hours, just dissected it and got absolutely nowhere. Hardly scratched the surface of what is going on in that movie. So yeah, it's a great movie.
I don't want to either. I'm just glad to get through whatever layers I could get through, or what we could get through.
I think we did a pretty good job, but like I say, there's so much more in there to explore. But yeah, going back to what Critic Al said there about making a video about the death of cinema, that's something I've toyed with for a long, long time, because I think that is on the horizon within at least the next decade, if not sooner. I think it's going to go down the shitter. Like you said, the way people's attitudes towards entertainment are changing rapidly. You've got streaming. We've had the pandemic that changed a lot of things. There's writer strikes every 6 months. I don't think people, and prices are going through the roof.
I know cinemas are getting really expensive now these days. It really is.
It's like £50 or £60 just for a couple to go to the cinema now. So what's that, like $70 or $80 in the States? It's ridiculous. And for what? For films that you don't even know that you can 100% trust to be entertaining.
And people know full well that if they don't go and see the film, it's out on streaming in a month anyway.
Well, that's it, because some of them
they're just going to weeks. Aren't they?
I mean, Furiosa's already been taken out of over 1,000 cinemas. That will be on streaming within two weeks.
Yeah, couple of weeks time. It's going to be out for. You can sit and watch it at home. You can go for a piss whenever you want. You can stop it and have a cup of tea.
Yeah, watch it in the comfort of your own home.
Everything's 6 hours long now anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, no, and I don't always mind long films. It's just not every film needs to be like 2.5 fucking hours long. And
it's the new standard now, isn't it? And it's really annoying.
It's horrendous.
Again,
a lot of filler and padding and just
the brevity of economic narrative storytelling has been lost in the name of giving people.
It's a dying art. There's an art and a craft to making films, and like probably every film that was ever made in the 70s is almost a masterpiece. I mean, what have we got?
To fucking cut films down or pace them in or keep some kind of flow going. It's But
it's like Kevin Smith once said, when you're making a film, you have to kill your fucking babies. That was one of the terms that he coined, kill your babies. You've got to fucking destroy half of your movie to make it good. You can't put everything in the movie just because you like a certain scene or a certain piece of dialogue. You've got to strip it down to its bare bones.
And so many films are made by committee these days that they feel compelled to just jam all sorts of stuff in there, and it just bloats the movie.
It's kind of the execs saying, well, that movie made $1 billion, so what movie do? We'll do what that movie did. And it's just got none of the essence.
You're going to see $1 billion movie this year?
No.
Don't think you're going to see it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Have you
Barbenheimer? I think Barbenheimer was an anomaly. I really do. I don't
see. Have you got anything coming up, Fan Dad? Are you in the process of making something?
I'm still kind of in me sort of hiatus at the moment. But yeah, I'm working on coming back with a vengeance. Just reporting
I look forward to it, though.
Just report on things that I think might be good. Try to keep people updated with upcoming projects, but it's becoming a hard slog because most of it's shit. I've been wrong on so many counts. I've recommended like the what was it? The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I said that was going to be fucking great, and it was kind of half and half. There was a lot of good action. There was a lot of good set pieces, and when it had Cavill in the gang in the frame, it was great. And then it kept flicking over to that dude and that girl in the harbour.
I've heard there's like a whole other film jammed in there that just doesn't
Yeah,
make
it's
sense.
kind of.
Why the fuck is a
what are
black
you
guy
doing?
walking around in an area full of fucking Nazis and not getting harassed? It's,
Yeah.
that is unrealistic. That
They
really
weren't
took
very
me-
sympathetic to that kind of gentleman.
That's what I'm talking about, the historical revisionism, because wasn't that story the basis for James Bond for Ian Fleming?
It was, yeah, kind of. Fleming was part of sort of forming the SES in its early sort of inception, and I think the
the book
characters
is
on
brilliant
screen
on it,
were
though.
actual. Yeah, you've read the book,
Okay.
haven't you, Luke?
Fucking brilliant
Yeah.
book.
That's something else that can't happen these days. Is James Bond? It just can't.
Yeah, no.
You've got to let it go away for 10 years, let all this madness die down, and then bring it back.
Yeah. But on top of all that, streaming something I'd like to do. If there's anybody out there that wants to,
Yeah, you can do your own streaming as well. Fucking that's easy. I mean, if I can fucking do it,
yeah, I don't know.
I've got to say, I've always, because I've never been on. This is my third stream now in total, and I've always figured there was some kind of mystique and magic and loads of basically hassle in streaming. And I'm like, no, this actually seems kind of easy. In all honesty, just jump on StreamYard and get it done. So
we're going to get moving on. So, Blue Collar Loser, final thoughts on Taxi Driver, and what have you got coming next?
No, everything you guys said is on point. It's a cautionary tale. I'm shocked it doesn't happen more often, honestly. I mean, in real life, it's scary that these major cities from New York City to California, it's pretty bad out there. And
it seems like these big cities are kind of like a breeding ground for depression and fucking some kind of psychotic episodes now. It's like there's something about it that seems to drive people a bit more crazy. And now,
I think people have a lot of escapes and home comforts. You can just go on the net. You can just look into your phone. You can you have escapes to pretend that stuff doesn't exist. So maybe that's what's keeping people saying. Because a lot of these things these days are just distractions. Even what the news comes up with is just to distract the populace, to stop them from focusing in the wrong places. Not that I'm a conspiracy, person or anything, but there's certainly a lot more things to keep people sedate these days. They don't want an uprising. They don't want a revolution. That's what people fear.
Yeah, numb everyone.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, numb them, desensitize them.
Yeah, and then Sunday will be on Band of Brothers with Lance, and then I'm looking forward to Sunday night, season 2 of House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Oh man, I'm so tempted with that. When season 1 came out, I said no, I'm not watching it. Because Game of Thrones ended like shit, but also I started reading those fucking books in 1998.
Yeah.
1998 or 99, one or two, first edition. And I said, because of George Martin not finishing the fucking books or finishing the series, I'm not watching House of the Dragon. But I hear it's superb, so I might have to cave.
It's pretty good, yeah. You won't be disappointed, I doubt.
Don't worry, Critical Al. Those books are coming, and those wieners will be floppier than ever. He's never going to finish those fucking books. He's too busy.
No, he's not. He's going to die. He's going to do a Robert Jordan. He's going to die.
Yeah.
He's not a healthy looking chap at the best of times.
I know. I mean, fucking hell. I mean, right. If he has fucking notes for the next novel, get someone else to, finish it off for him, and just give him some credit, and that's it. And finish off that, and you finish off the box.
I think part of it is, again, because everything's so woke now, maybe he can't finish it, certainly in the way he wants to. He can't make it as dramatic and offensive and shocking as it would be because of what's perceived okay now. And if somebody was to take over the series, I don't think that changing. I've just written it off. It's fine. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I wouldn't be invested in it even if it did come out now, to be honest.
Yeah, House of Dragon is actually very good, damn. I
hear it's excellent. I hear Matt Smith in it, isn't it? Matt Smith who plays
Matt Smith is so fucking good in it.
Aragon?
Yeah.
Aragon, that's Lord of the Rings. Aegon, I think. Tregarian.
Yeah,
I hear he's brilliant. So yeah, I hear it is really good. What I'll probably do is I'll wait for it to finish, because I do like waiting for series to finish, and then I'll just binge the whole fucking thing.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get heading off now anyway, and it's been a pleasure having you guys in, and everyone in chat, please. Yeah, you're more than welcome, and If you get a chance, please subscribe to my guests. The links are in the description below. And right now,
Already
I am
done.
done, and I am off to the pub. I will catch you all later, and
Hooray.
enjoy your weekend as well.
Cheers, lads. Have a good one.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.